Hey everybody, it's me, Opti, and I'm here to tell you about Killing Time. Killing Time is the first Optiverse crossover. It's got people from the Variants, it's got people from the Justicars, and it's got people from a brand new group called Star Patrol. And we are glad that you are here to witness this very first crossover with us. So, everybody, why don't you say hello? Starting with James, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do in real life, and what character you're playing?
I'm James. I play Bastion, who is telekinetic and does shields, that sort of thing. As far as in real life, I do the Deniable Assets podcast and work for a gas company.
But mostly, he's Wolf on Deniable Assets.
I guess I probably should have said who I was.
That's his real job.
That's
and
me.
Below James is Sarah.
Hi guys, I'm Sarah. I play Core on the Justicars, who is a shapeshifter. And in real life, I own Rem Alternities Productions, which is gearing up in 24 days for a Kickstarter for a cyberpunk fantasy series trailer. So you should check that out. And we are also working on a super secret project, but perhaps you should check out the Shadowrun Sixth World website in 2.5 days and see what happens.
Yeah, so this Rem Alternities thing that you're producing, this Kickstarter, has nothing to do with Shadowrun. But
I don't know what you're
But I've heard that you're also working with Catalyst on something. So we'll just let that drop there, and we'll move on to Thomas.
Hey everyone, I'm Thomas. I play Silhouette on the Variant, the creepy shadow boy. And in real life, I play games around the internet on the Emerald Grid, and I do a few voices here and there that you might have started to notice recently. Other than that, I'm a screen printer. Yeah.
Nice. Thomas has done some voice work for us for the Blackout crossover that we're doing between Neo Anarchist Podcast, Radio Free Detroit, and Deniable Assets. So Thomas has done some work for us there, and he's just an altogether fun guy to be around.
Oh, thank you.
Next is Jules.
Hey, I'm Jules Watts. I am playing Pleiades, Master of the Electromagnetic Spectrum, and a astronomer / astrophysicist.
And she also runs a killer Little Fears game. If you've ever had the pleasure.
I think we spent about a fourth or a fifth of the first hour, like the opening ceremonies, just waxing poetic about Jules running Little Fears for us at Origins, one group or another.
Yeah, well, the first time I ever ran Origins for somebody outside of like my immediate little friends group here in Northern Virginia was with Mr. J and his daughter, and she drew me a picture of Bendy from Bendy and the Ink Machine because I mentioned I love Bendy, and that picture is still up in my cube at my new job. I moved it with me. So it reminds me if I get an inspiration for something, I'll write it down. But it's also that somebody enjoyed. And he said that was one of his treasured bits of Origins, and for me it was too. And I wrote, like, almost all the drive home, I was writing down all of the experience with my first, like, oh my gosh, because even if something happens, I don't want to forget. I want to be able to at least reread it. So it was so much fun.
Excellent.
Yeah. So of all the feels of missing out of Origins this year, the only one that really cut deep was like knowing I wasn't going to get to do that. Can carry on that tradition with you this year.
Well, there's next year, and I just ran 2 games back to back, and there was 10 people.
And then we have on the other side is Cliff, who probably needs no introduction because you've probably been watching him for the last 2 hours. But Cliff, introduce yourself.
Hey. I'm Cliff, also known as Mr. Johnson, or maybe Prism Shard. I do the Arcology podcast with some other people, but that's kind of my main thing. I do music as Prism Shard, and do lots of GMing and other stuff with the Shadowcasters network. And here I am to run some Mutants and Masterminds tonight.
Excellent. And I am Opti. I do the Neo-Anarchist podcast, and I'm the creator of the Optiverse. Actually, that's probably not true. I have a lot of collaboration. But I will be playing the Optimist for this game. I'm going to set the stage for everyone for the Killing Time crossover, and I'm going to hand it over to my favorite GM, Cliff. So 1,000 years from now, there is a group called the Star Patrol. They secure the galaxy and beyond. Their heroism is renowned across myriad worlds, and tales from the golden age of heroes inspire them in turn. But now, one of their own, calling himself Neverman, has gone rogue. He's stolen the Time Vault and has used it to bring villains from every time period into our present. 3 brave Star Patrollers, Pleiades, Bastion, and Amber Lux, have risked their lives going back 1,000 years to recruit allies and stop their former friend from killing time! When they arrived in our time, the Star Patrol became aware that Neverman had unleashed a powerful villain to wreak havoc on our world, so Pleiades and Bastion recruited Core, the Optimist, and the mysterious Silhouette to aid them in this battle, while Amber Lux made haste to recruit Tarot, Magnitude, Aether, and Dr. Splendid to aid her in taking down Neverman once and for all. So now, Cliff, take it away.
All right, so I guess are we role playing through the recruiting part of things?
No, we're gonna
like
just assume that Bastion and Pleiades have already recruited Optimist Core and Silhouette.
Okay, so that's all in like the yellow box text at the beginning of the comic book.
Yep.
Got it. All right, so we're cutting to a room in the it's in the Justicars base in Proudhaven. It's a what would be a fancy conference room, but there are signs of like recent damage to the building and current ongoing repairs. These events of these damages are unrelated to this, but there's a little asterisk that says please see issue X, which is referring to the episodes 1 and 2 of the Justicars, which will be up on our YouTube, I'm sure. But To carry on with the comic book vibe, in the initial frame, you're all sitting there, and standing up to brief the team on what's going on is Pleiades. And Pleiades, the situation is that there's an increased amount of villain activity just all across the globe, and you need to find out exactly what the cause is. This isn't Neverman. This is something he's like unleashed around here. Like he's gathered up a bunch of villains, dropped them around. They're doing something, and you've got to figure out like how to put a stop to this, because there's got to be a choke point or something. You've got to come up with a plan, and I guess you're addressing the team. What are you saying?
I was like, all right, she finishes scribbling down, and you guys look, and you're seeing a metric ass ton of just equations, unless you guys know like advanced calculus and stuff like that. You probably wouldn't quite get it. It's just like, all right, calculations aside, I think I have an idea. It's pretty much what we're seeing is a ripple effect to what Neverman has done. So I don't know if it's directly, but pretty much this looks like, to quote an old show, a fixed point in time. This is a nexus this is pretty much where an event's going to happen. And what we're going to do is lock it. And we want to make sure we lock it in the way where we're victorious. So we have to figure out exactly what is the source, what we can cut it off, where we can cut it off, with the least damage to the time stream, because wrong move, and I'm my own grandpa, and you kind of pop from existence kind of a thing, and I don't think anyone wants that.
You are very correct, Pleiades, and I can speak for Core and our new friend Silhouette, and that you have all of our powers at your disposal to help end this threat to the time stream.
We are here for you.
Shadow is gonna step take a long step from the side of the wall to the side of the desk and say, friends might be a little bit strong of a word. But, yes, I suppose we're here to help. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, let's just put it this way. This is the world, this is existence, this is where all of our stuff is, so either we stop what's going on or we lose all of our stuff. Depending on what you like. Whatever your motivation is, we got to work together, and the best thing we got to do is the mayhem level is beyond, your standard walking through New York getting a mugging. This is a lot nastier, a lot worse, and there's a lot more coordination than what I would be expecting. The best thing to do, the thing is, like, if you pull up and she holds up her hand, and a light show of just hot on the globe of hot spots of just like, okay, if you take a look here, these were the most recent events, and first thing to do is, like, there's got to be people that are controlling it that are best way to put middle management. That means they really don't have a lot of stake in loyalty, so we find those, figure out what they know, move up the chain, and kind of piece it together from there.
I'm going to interrupt here as a core. You're noticing the console here. You're more familiar with this place because this is, your super team's HQ. You can see that there's a priority message coming through on the comm system. You could put it up for everyone to kind of talk and communicate if you want, or take it privately if you'd like.
No, I would share it with the group, so I just ping it up for everyone to see.
Okay, you all see, like, all of a sudden there's this hollow projector in the middle of the table that projects an image of someone that is on the other end of this comm line, and you all see, to some of you, a very familiar looking image. It is Neverman.
Do you recognize this man? I have never seen him.
Yeah, this is the guy that's causing all the problems.
Yeah.
Looks at Bastion and says, Bastion, I should have thought they'd send some of the most pathetic agents after me. I guess this is in vain and the world is doomed, but I might as well give it a try anyway.
That's rude.
So you're still keeping to the idle threats, Neverman.
While they're doing that, I'm watching pretty much as, like, there's got to be some kind of EM signal, and he's jacking it, so switching on electromagnetic sight, depending on what the info going in here is, unless...
You're looking around, and you can see that you're not familiar with the exact technology of this time. It's a lot more primitive than you're used to, of course, but it's some sort of communication system, like creating an image. He's not really here.
Oh, no, I know that, but in order to get an image in here, he's hijacking a signal into here. I'm looking for something that doesn't belong.
Gotcha. It's hard for you to say because you haven't been here much, but the communication continues. He says, Neverman sort of looks at you with a sneer and says, well, this is just a courtesy. You see, when I enacted my plan, my intention is to have something to win, to rule over, I have goals, you see, an agenda, not just unlimited destruction. I may have selected poorly when I chose villains of different ages to bring about. There's one in particular that seems to have taken opportunities.
Culture sucks a bitch, ain't it?
So while I go and continue with my aims and achieve my objectives, it's probably up to you to prevent this person from unraveling all of space-time with his games and manipulations.
So
now I assume that...
a mess is what you're saying.
If you'd like, that would be nice. I'd like to win. I can't win if all of space-time is unraveled, and there's certainly nothing I'm going to do to stop this person. But I'm assuming you may have heard of, in your history, a man by the name of Xander the Cannon, and those of you who are not in the present time or from the future definitely remember Xander the Cannon. He's like a famous space pirate rogue, like sort of like like a Star-Lord type character, but one that would enslave a whole population and sell them to somebody else. He was reported to just disappeared through a black hole. There's all sorts of rumors and legends about his alleged demise, but none of them line up. No one knows where he went or what happened.
So you recruited Xander the Cannon without thinking about the repercussions of it? Boy, Neverman, this time travel thing has really made you much dumber than you used to be.
God.
Well,
Can't we all just play games? We're trying to save the world.
well, let's just say I didn't expect him to be able to do what he managed to do with the temporal resonator. As you know, it's a complex piece of technology used in the alignment of time-space for time travel devices. Without it, of course, you'd appear in deep space. You travel far back in time, but not in the right position. The planet's moved on to somewhere else, etc. But he's rigged it up with some other gadgetry to apparently duplicate himself. I'm not
Now, are we
certain there are
talking duplication?
limitations.
No, here we go. Are we talking duplication as in cloning? Are we talking duplication as in light constructs? And are they all sharing the same experience through a neural web of any type like that? And is his powers replicating, halved, doubled, or anything else like that? If we want to stop it so you can at least attempt your thing, I need to know this.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Or is he putting himself throughout different bits in the time stream?
Listen, as much as I've enjoyed playing mentor to you and holding your hand through this, I'm not your friend. I'm not here to help you succeed. I'm just giving you a heads up. Save
Put my hand in front of my face. That means
so I can succeed in my endeavors. You will, of course, ultimately fail in those.
Well, evil always has unintended consequences, as you will soon see when our friends catch up to you. Meanwhile,
Enjoy your tachyon tracker.
I think we'll deal with your evil.
Evil is a concept for lesser beings. He turns off his comm and cuts the call.
Don't believe him.
He was dumb.
We're not
What?
having so much sass in here.
Before we
No,
move on,
he's an idiot.
Opti, would you like to jump in and let people know how they can influence the game with donations and such?
Yes. So thanks for that segue, Cliff.
This is a Stream-a-Thon. We have to jump in and interrupt the action to beg for money.
Yes. So we have a function. Whereas if you give $10 or more throughout this time that we're doing the killing time, then you will be able to influence the game by either giving a reroll, forcing a reroll to anybody, or granting a reroll to a hero, or you can introduce a complication. Of course, and that is all based on the GM's okay, but essentially you can add a complication. So, for example, if the Optimist has something about him that makes him always want to do the right thing and never hurt anybody, then you might, use your $10 donation power to throw an innocent bystander in the way and take Optimist out of the fight while he deals with that innocent bystander. Or maybe you introduce a complication that Core, I don't know, can't think of something to turn into, so she she fumbles and so you can introduce complications to the heroes and fumble them up and basically change the scene any way you want to with final GM approval. So do that. I'll be monitoring the donations, and then I will ask you how you want to alter the scene. So yeah, we have to raise $30 this hour to keep on track. So yeah, help us stay on the air. We are not government sponsored. We don't do commercials, so we have to rely on the generous donations of our listeners, just like you. Thank you for listening to Shadowcasters Network. We'll now return to our normal scheduling program.
Meanwhile, back in the Hall of the Justice.
All right, you're pulling up, there's reports of different, all sorts of different villainous activity around the world it's being fought by different police and military forces and other heroes around. But for the most part, they're not big, huge disasters, but lots of little disasters going on. However, there is one particular location where there is a nuclear power plant facility, and it is currently being attacked by a bunch of cowboys, and some of them have robots. I guess if Bastion and Pleiades, who are from the future, take a look at some of the footage, you will definitely recognize those, as it looks like there's at least a dozen or more of perhaps people who look like they're Xander the Cannon, the space pirate of feared from myth and legend.
All right, so you said there was a nuclear power plant, so I guess I will ask one of the Justicars to use their computer system that's outdated to bring the power plant up.
All right, I'll use my Justicom to pull up that on. Well, I mean, we say like, we actually have state-of-the-art equipment here. I don't know if you know this or not, but things couldn't be that much more advanced than this 1,000 years in the future. As you can see, this is pretty amazing.
FTL standard, dude. FTL is standard.
1,000 years is a very long time, Mr. Optimist. But
I mean, I can think, and my computer brings up what I need. So
FTL, is that like HTML?
FTL, faster than light.
Ah, well, the internet is not that fast.
No, but here's
that
right.
fast.
Yeah, it is, especially if you're using fiber optics.
Well, yes, of course.
But all right,
I don't know how it works. I just encourage people.
you smile and things just go right.
The location is out in kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's this huge power plant that's built like in Montana or somewhere.
The thing is,
not much habitable around there, but it provides a massive amount of power. It's a big nuclear plant.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
experimental stuff was built a few years ago, and if they're attacking this place, they need power for something.
I can
steal it. Either that, or redirect it, absorb it, or blast into space if we have to.
I mean, I'm not much of a technical engineer, but I believe the people living around need that power too. If you would prevent from stealing it. But what am I saying? Anyways, if there's a shadow there, I can bring us there.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I have no memory in any of the history I learned of a giant nuclear meltdown around there. So if that's what's going to happen, we got to stop it.
That is not what's going to happen, because we will stop it with your help.
I will trust in your abilities.
Hey, Silhouette, I think that one of the nuclear silo things there's a shadow underneath that. So can you transport us there?
It might take a few jumps if it's more than 30 miles away, but
all you need is absence of light, right?
Shadow, yes. Like in that corner, the shadow points at the dark corner, and it gets darker and darker and darker, and it's
so in the next panel, you've all arrived near where you can view the power plant in the shadow of a forest that's a couple of miles away. And that was a really jarring experience. You just flickered through a whole bunch of shadows, making a bunch of jumps to go basically most of the way across the country. Those of you who've never shadow traveled before probably found it very unpleasant.
That was disconcerting.
I think there was voices. There were voices talking to you while you were in there. You think maybe some things touching you.
I look at Silhouette. Are you all right overall? Is this normal for you?
Well, yes. And I'll take that opportunity to point out that you never saw Silhouette itself. You just see the shadow on the ground. He never comes out in 3D. It's just flat in 2D on the ground.
Well, thanks for the transportation, chum, but I think I'll pass doing that again.
All right. I am actually staring at. I'm staring at the power plant. I have.
Even from this distance here, you can see signs that there's some sort of a struggle. There's a couple of vehicles that are burning. There's this sort of large, like maybe 5 meter tall robot-looking thing wandering around. And there's a few different still human forms on the ground here and there. And there appear to be alarms going off and red lights spinning, stuff like that.
All right, I am getting the full spectral of the plant. What is leaking? What wavelength?
Doesn't look like there's any leak. It does look like there's a lot of power coming from that robot thing. Like it's got some energy weapons and shielding and it's stuff. It's pretty high tech. It looks like there's a cowboy-looking dude riding in it.
Well, to get to the plant, we got to get past that thing.
Well, it sounds to me like we need to take out a robot.
This is my specialty!
All right,
so you go charging towards the action or moving in some way. Let's call for an initiative roll here. So everybody roll a d20, add your initiative bonus.
Okay.
And call it off verbally. I'm going to try to jot them all down here.
Nerp.
Silhouette has 21.
Core has 21.
Optimist has 8.
Pleiades has 9. I rolled a 5.
And Bastion?
14.
Man,
okay.
8's pretty crummy.
So,
don't feel bad, dude. Everyone rolls crap on the die sometimes.
Between Core and Silhouette, what are your initiative bonuses?
Okay, there has been a complication added. Silhouette, you're getting very, very hungry.
Oh.
Yeah, all that moving through the shadows has pulled a lot away from you. And let's see, is there a status that would work well for that?
Well, here's the thing. I think I know what they're referring for. It's not Silhouette that is hungry, it's his shadows.
So it could be
and
impaired,
eat.
which is -2 penalty on checks. It could be fatigued, which is hindered, meaning he recovers after 1 hour of rest. Oh no, sorry. Fatigued. He could be hindered and recovered.
Okay, here's the thing then, Thomas. Silhouette, you feel the hunger of this entity inside you. It wants to feed. You can either allow it to feed and have an unpleasant and perhaps unheroic complication happen, or you can prevent it from feeding and suffer an unknown, well, you'll find out at that point which condition.
You mentioned that there was some lifeless bodies on the ground a little bit?
Up ahead, near the plant. I said motionless.
Motionless.
That's the word that I used, actually. To be specific.
But we're going towards an enemy, so he's probably just gonna go focus. He's gonna try and feed on that enemy, so he's gonna focus the shadow on the person riding the robot. Try and knock him down and consume him.
So would it be fair to say until he does that, he's at a minus or he's a consequence?
No, what we'll do is we'll have him go first, and we open the combat. You start moving forward, and Silhouette starts to move forward and starts to, I think, lose a little bit of his form or control or whatever. Sort of like rushes in, and you can see like there's this little canopy. There's the big robot suit with the guns and stuff on it. It's a big giant robot thing, like I said, about 5 meters tall, and like it fills up with blackness, and the robot sort of shudders and moves around and falls over, bangs into the wall, like knocks part of it down, and lands and hits, and then the blackness recedes, and inside the cowboy form is like It's like a mummified skeleton with like old bits of flesh still clinging here and there, but mostly completely decomposed.
There was another screaming involved.
Yeah, but it was fully contained inside the robot thing, so.
Oh,
Hey, who turned out the lights?
So with that, somebody like stands up, looks around, and says, "What the hell?" And you see there's this cowboy looking dude in a duster who's pulled out this big looking, oversized sci-fi looking blaster, and looks like there's more of them in there, at least one more. And now it's Cora's turn. You just witnessed this.
So these shadows just lashed out and knocked this guy off the thing.
Yeah, he went like rushing out in his like on the ground shadowy form and like somehow like slurped up inside that thing, and now he's sort of like back out as his normal shadowy self, I guess. But you haven't known him very long, I guess.
Well, that's kind of cool. So I'll charge after him, and as I move, I'll shift into. For now, we'll do the form of a sphinx.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one before, Core. That's neat.
There's nothing else to attack right now, or nothing attacking us.
Like in the rubble of the wall that thing just knocked down, there's another cowboy-looking dude inside who has a big fancy sci-fi gun, and he looks like he might be one of them.
All right. Well, since I still in Sphinx form have my face, I can talk. I'll kind of charge forward, shift my form, and then peek in and go, it's not in your best interest to attack, stand down.
He looks over at you and says, "That's one lousy riddle. You're supposed to give me a riddle or something?" And then we get to Bastion on 14.
I'm sorry, give me a second. That was great.
That's what I say when we see sphinxes in real life.
So you said there was another cowboy guy with a sci-fi gun.
Yeah, it's this like handheld blaster with all these different weird cylindrical attachments, and they're glowing different colors and stuff. Pretty cool looking, actually. He's wearing this leather duster, has a cowboy hat, looks like mostly a robot face, but it's mostly like, hidden dramatically under the shadow of the brim of the hat. And he's wearing some sort of body armor, probably has a jetpack or something, and yeah, it looks kind of like a sci-fi cowboy pirate. He does have an eye patch, I should say.
All right,
you can make that out.
I'm gonna run up to him and use my telekinetic attack to kick him in the chest.
All right, you make an attack roll then. That's against his defense bonus plus 10.
Let me see if I remember how to do this. It's been a bit.
This is the cowboy.
Yeah, the one that you told to stand down.
So the cowboy was riding the robot?
Well, driving, like it's a mech or a battle suit or something.
Okay, and now he's not in it?
Now that one is dead. Very, very dead.
Okay.
Very dead.
But there's another one who looks like the same guy, who was inside the building.
Okay.
But he was. So did we see that the guy is dead? That silhouette got to, or do we just see the robot suit?
Well, I mean, like, it's not a robot suit. It's like he's got. Never mind. It's like sci-fi armor, like he's got like a faceplate down partly, and he's like a sci-fi cowboy pirate. So.
He looks like the guys at the end of Indiana Jones. So yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I'm thinking like Maverick plus Star-Lord, in like a kind of evil Han Solo vibe. Kind of a likable rogue, but he's just really can't trust him.
There's nothing I like.
Yeah, there's really no good in there anywhere.
Is this the Xander we're looking for? Or do we not know?
Those of you who are from the future recognize him from 100 or so years before you were born. You've seen pictures and old videos and stuff, and probably a number of different dramatized films that may pit him as the hero or the villain or both. Yes, this definitely looks like Xander the Cannon in his action outfit to you.
So I got an 11 to hit him. I feel like I missed.
Yeah, you go bleeping towards him, and he just sort of kind of steps to the side, and you go kind of past a little ways. Or no, you were using telekinetic force, not flying yourself, were you?
No, I've got to hit him physically for it to actually hit.
So he kind of moves to the side as there's this wave of force that rushes past him, and then on 9, Pleiades, it's your turn.
All right.
Do the Star Patrol proud, since I didn't, obviously.
It's like, you're blind to your own weakness, aren't you? So, I will remove pretty much, I will remove any electromagnetic, lack of a better term, I'm blinding him, but what I am in effect doing is no light hits any of his sensors. Blinding night nullification. It's one of my superpowers.
So that is an affliction, which means she doesn't have to roll for it. It just does the effect, and he has to resist an affliction 9.
Okay,
which is
what's the resistance?
19.
Is it fortitude?
It's
fortitude.
Yes.
Well, I've got a 1 there.
Nice.
That turned out the lights.
That is that 4 levels? Well, anyway, it caps out at 3. So he is impaired, stunned, and unaware, which means in Mutants and Masterminds terms, he is -2 penalty on all checks. He is he cannot take actions. And he is unable to make any interaction or perception checks or perform any actions based on them. Dang, Gina, that was dope.
Looks like it's messing with his suit and its tech as well, and it's dealing with his all sorts of problems with sensor feedback, and it's trying to compensate, and other systems are causing problems and actually starting to spark and smoke here and there. And yeah, and he gets that one line off, and then he's just kind of just trying to he's having problems.
Yeah.
Optimist, what are you doing?
That's how we do it in the future.
Pleiades, that was a mighty attack, and allow me to take it from here. And I will charge in,
lock him down,
flying, and for dramatic effect, this is not my best attack, but for dramatic effect, I'm going to do channeling hope and channel all of my my inner belief into a punch.
Yeah.
Like I said, not my best skill, but we'll give it a go anyway. Just because punches seem more fun.
So you punch him and knock him out.
Ha! Well, there you go.
Remove the power core.
I knew we were going to win. I just didn't know it was going to be this easy.
Great force, and he falls over unconscious. And then you look over at the remains of this room. This had been a break room or something, because there was some vending machines that are knocked over and busted open. Probably not from the robot that fell in the room. Maybe from
Cheese doodles.
But yeah, it looks like there's 4 more of these guys who just walked into the room, and one of them says, "Jeepers cripes."
What? 4 more of the robots?
And one of the other ones turns and says, "Really? That's what you're going with?" And the other one shrugs and raises his gun to shoot one of you. So at that point, you're all getting shot at. Well, not all of you. Silhouette isn't. But everyone's getting shot at by a blast, by a blaster from one of these Xander the Cannons. Pleiades and Bastion, it's it's dangerous and scary, but also this is a famous pirate of legend and story, not someone you grew to be afraid of. just like kind of a famous scary pirate. So it's kind of like almost like thrilling to be shot at by Xander the Cannon's actual cannon, but you're almost,
there's a little bit of starstruck awe.
Yeah, there's this weird part of you that wants to fanboy or fangirl out for a moment. And you're like, all right, no, we got to stop you. Sorry.
Hey, can I have you sign this?
By Xander the. Are you serious right now?
All right, so what's your dodge defenses? Go ahead and call them out. It's your defense bonus plus 10. Starting with Optimist.
My defense bonus plus 10.
Your dodge bonus plus 10.
Oh, dodge bonus plus 10. Okay, I'm flying, so it will be 22.
Okay, you sort of zip to the side, and the blaster bolt, which kind of has a very Star Wars-like sound of pew, rips through the air past you harmlessly.
Try harder next time.
Bastion, how about you?
19.
All right, you on the other hand, you're watching Optimist and like see him not get hit, and then you're sort of blindsided as one of the blasters hits you directly. Go ahead and make a damage resistance test. And then Pleiades, what's your defense? Your dodge. Dodge bonus plus 10.
15.
You have also been blasted.
Mr. J, I would like to use one of my advantage to take a shot.
You're also getting shot yourself, though.
Yeah, it's in my character.
Okay, how does that work? Do you have to make a roll for it?
I basically, it just says take an attack meant for an ally, so I guess roll your damage and I just take it.
All right. So you're going to take it for Bastion then? Or Pleiades?
Pleiades.
And then what's your defense for dodge?
For mine?
Yep, 10 plus your dodge bonus.
Hold on, because I realized I looked up mine and not my cat. My dodge is 19.
Okay, so you're hit, like you leap in to take the blast from Pleiades, and then you're also shot by the one that's targeting you. So the result from this barrage is that Optimist dodges, Bastion is hit once, and Core takes a shot for Pleiades and is hit again. So those of you who are struck make your, I believe it's you roll a d20, add your toughness bonus, and you're trying not to die. High numbers are good.
You want me to roll twice?
Yep. I'll have them happen effectively simultaneously, so I'll just make them at the same number.
And it's, you said plus toughness, right?
Yep. How are you doing, Bastion?
Not great. I'm gonna be honest. Not great. I rolled a 7.
That's your total?
Yeah.
You rolled a 7, or you got
No,
7 total?
I rolled a 5. I got a 7 total. My toughness is low until I put my shield up,
Oh my.
which I keep forgetting to do at the beginning of combat.
Ouch, man.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Well, that's a fail by 20.
Nice.
That is a
Let's
knockout.
Do this.
No.
Core, how are you doing?
My first one I got 24, and my second I have 21.
Okay, that's a fail by like a few points, and then like 3, I think. If I heard that right, then a fail by 6. So I think you're at -2 to future damage soak rolls, and I think the other effect is you're dazed, so I think you can only take a standard action on your next turn.
Okay.
So no move and attack, just one or the other, I guess. But yeah, that hurt a lot, but not as badly. It just looks like Bastion was just blindsided and blasted and like knocked back, and like he's laying on the ground and smoke is rising from his still form.
And that's
the one,
it's at our,
yeah, the one who took down Bastion says, "Hoo yeah, I'm the best." The other ones glare at him. Except for the one that missed Optimist, who he just kind of looks a little embarrassed. And then,
Hey, but Bastion got knocked out by Xander the Cannon, okay? So
right.
That'll be
It's
a
like
story
an
to tell
autograph.
later.
All right, next round we're up to Silhouette.
Right.
You're feeling satiated.
Yeah, but there's these 4 guys right there that shot at the people I'm working with, and there's already one down, so that's not. So Silhouette is going to use his Boogeyman attack, which is an area of shapeable area of effect to engulf these 4 guys in shadow tentacles and mouths and eyes and gloomy stuff.
You have to roll to hit, or do they roll to resist?
They have to roll to resist, and the roll is DC 23. And after that, they're going to have to resist other things, but let's start with the...
All right, you managed to grab 2 of them.
Okay, those 2 have to beat DC 15 willpower in order not to get progressively blind, and have to beat a Fortitude DC 11 save not to be swallowed by the tentacles and digested like the first.
All right, they succeeded both of those. Are there any other consequences?
Nope. They have to resist the damage, which is I think 23-2. So
Okay, it looks like one of them is just sort of like waving at him and not having much trouble. The other one is suffering a little bit of pain, but you don't have a very significant effect on it. The shadows maybe seem a little lethargic after their meal. They're maybe a little bit less motivated than they normally are, perhaps. Then we're moving on to Core.
it's my turn.
Yep. Now remember, you only get a standard action this round because you're in a lot of pain from just getting shot twice. That hurt a lot. One of them was a burning attack, and then the other one was cold damage.
Well, then I feel just fine. So
No, you hurt
I'll kind of grow.
badly in different ways in different spots.
So I'll groan, but I immediately look over to Bastion and go, "Oh no, are you all right?" And start trying to make my way over to him. Luckily, I still have a giant, terrifying look syringe from Astro Chimp that's supposed to heal.
All right,
That's great!
So you jab him with this like syringe thing from Astro Chimp. It's just like these healing nanites meant to heal this gigantic monster thing that you'd turned into at the time.
I think it was
And
T-Rex.
looking down at Bastion, yeah, something like that. Or you're fighting a T-Rex. Oh yeah, you turned into a T-Rex yourself. That's
His
right.
powers
So
mutate.
Good times.
there's all these nanites that go in and like super huge levels of like combat healing drugs and like whatever high-tech stuff that like Astro Chimp made up and put in there. Probably banana juice.
I'm very concerned at what's about to happen to me.
Bastion, at this
There's
point,
definitely
like
Nutella.
when you were hit, you were killed. You were dead. Your corpse is lying there, just immediately deceased. Just laying there, and you're injected with this stuff, and it floods through your system and kickstarts you back up, and you are healed completely.
So I was floating towards the light, and then suddenly my spirit slams back into my body.
Yeah, you're floating towards the light, and then this sort of like dark, sort of Reaper-like figure there saying, "Greetings, and then you disappear. It's like, God damn it. Fragging superheroes.
So I
You're
guess
all right.
for aesthetics. All right, we're good. We're good.
That was amazing. That was freaking dope.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's what to do. I'm here for you.
You have to tell Astro Chimp that you finally tested it out.
I'm
No,
gonna say,
we are
Core,
never telling Astro.
that is going to cost you a hero point because that's not one of your powers. So I'm assuming you
We'll
each have a
take it.
hero point, right? You start with one at the beginning of the session?
Yeah, we should all have
Okay. Okay.
Or are they only getting hero points if people buy them for them?
one. No, we all start with one, so you've just used yours.
Dumb question. What do hero points do for me and the chat?
Hero points can edit a scene, perform a heroic feat, improve a roll, give you inspiration in the form of a hint or a clue from the GM, instantly counter a reaction, like you can use a power as a reaction, or allow you to recover from dazed, fatigued, or stunned. It wouldn't have helped Bastion because you can't recover from being whatever he was.
Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, normally I would have said his character was just disabled and would have recovered, but since he was healed in that dramatic fashion, I thought it was cool to narrate him as being dead in that moment.
Yeah, you can't recover from being incapacitated, but you can recover from lesser stuff. So hero points allow you to kind of basically do cool stuff.
Technically, that what happened is not really what you're allowed to do with the hero point, is resurrect somebody out of the blue, but it was cool. It fit.
Yay!
It was awesome.
It achieved the rule of cool.
Right, which is one of the most important rules.
What can I say?
Moving on. Bastion, you are alive. I'm gonna say you are like coming back to life this turn. So
All right.
I'm gonna make you sit this one out. Pleiades, it's your turn next.
All right. What's the grouping?
There's like 4 of them. They've walked into this break room. Well, that is now an open air break room, part of the parking lot now. Also, robot junkyard. They're all pretty close together, kind of in a line, a row in front of you.
Surgical precision, gamma line. So it is a gamma ray line effect, 5 feet by 30 feet long, penetrating 3, DC 20, variable descriptor. And so I am using high energy gamma rays to slice them. It's the equivalent of a gamma ray knife, but a lot wider.
Do you have to roll to hit with that, or are they just rolling to resist?
I think I have to roll to hit.
Okay.
Also, by the way, thanks, Cool, for donating that. You've given Core a reroll of her choice.
Yay!
Ooh.
Hooray! Alright. So let's see, I'd be rolling that plus what? My range combat? Roll 20? Yeah.
Which, by the way, means we are only $5 away from our goal this hour of our $30 goal.
Yay! Alright, so it's rolling 20 plus my range attack skill.
Yep.
Alright. Alright, so it looks... Opti, tell me if I do this right, so... 19.
Looks right to me.
With the 19, it looks like they all managed to duck beneath the sweeping blade of gamma ray death. Or beam, I should say, rather than blade. A 19 is not good enough to hit Xander the Cannon, or Xander the Cannon, or Xander the Cannon for that matter, or the other one.
Am I doing... Well, let's see if...
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, I want to make sure I was doing it right.
This game is just unforgiving sometimes in
No,
attacking.
it's my first time with these mechanics, so I'm not quite sure. I wait to play too many.
You're all good.
Opti, it's your turn.
All right, seeing how my teammates just got almost annihilated, I feel bad going off half-cocked and just punching things, so I'm going to remember myself, and I'm going to channel my inner hope that is made manifest and extend that hope into a group force field. So now if everybody doesn't have power protection already, they are gaining a protection of 8 as long as they stay within my shapeable force field. So I can kind of go in with them wherever they go. So it affects them, but not the enemies. So basically, with everybody within 30 cubic feet of me, will get +8 toughness for their defense rolls.
Thanks, friend.
A big blue light of hope surrounds you all, and you feel just a little bit more protected.
And a little warm inside.
Oh.
Silhouette, I'm not sure how that affects you.
And anyway, I have the protection power, so Silhouette flinch because it's bright, and then he relax and go. Huh.
So yeah, it's either being swallowed up by his shadow, or, well, it's probably just being swallowed up by his shadow.
All right, so now the Xander the cannons go. One of them, like underneath his duster, there's these like sort of bright jets as he fires off his jetpack and goes leaping high into the air to go up near Opti, and looks like he's going to basically try to ram and elbow him, trying to punch through the force field to get there. Does that stop his movement, or is that just a protection thing?
No, it doesn't stop his movement at all. He's still flying.
All right, what's your dodge?
My dodge is 12. Would you like me to roll it? Or no, I guess it's just be 22.
Nope, he flies up there and tries to swing his elbow at you, and he's up there near you, and he misses.
Woo! I'm dodgy today.
One of the other ones turns, and I guess he cranks some sort of device on his gun and fires off this kind of extended beam looking thing at Core. It's like a red beam that he tries to hold on to him. So, but Core, you're able to leap out of the way, and it manages to essentially score smoking black marks along the pavement and burst apart a couple of the rubble rocks as it misses you. And then
I look back at what just happened, and then back at him and go, why can't we ever just talk about these things?
right, and then there's the other two. Like one of them, like grabs, like taps the other one on the shoulder, and like grabs some sort of a tube that's attached to his backpack, and like attaches it to his own pistol and starts working on it and like doing stuff. While the one who's like, you know, getting his backpack attached to or worked on, he raises his gun and fires off a cold blast at Pleiades. And I think that's gonna hit you. 26 is your dodge plus 10. I don't think it's gonna be good enough to avoid that. So make a damage resistance roll, Pleiades, with an additional +8. Normally this would be capped out by a power level. However, I'm going to say, this being a crossover event, essentially power level caps are not in effect, except for how they were with your character creation. So I'm going to allow anything goes, you know, stack up the stuff, let's have fun. Opti may do differently when he runs his GMs tomorrow. So.
All right, so how do I roll this?
D20 plus your toughness save or defense bonus, then plus an additional 8 because you've got the Optimist force field on you.
All right.
Basically,
and I have an immunity to cold.
Never mind.
I have the immunity power, radiation, cold.
This
or
is
am I reading this wrong? I might be reading it wrong. Opti, fix me out if I screwed up.
Yeah, if you're immune to cold, then this does no damage to you whatsoever. It blasts you with it, and it's a cool breeze.
Yeah, her immunity is pretty awesome, so she has immunity to cold.
Immune to radiation, cold, heat, suffocation.
It's environmental conditions, so if it's
okay. So no, then I'd still take damage, I'm sure. From that.
she can't take like damage from like being out in the cold.
Just
but she'll be affected.
I can survive in the vacuum of space is how we built that. Make
your soak roll then. It's a D20 plus your toughness plus the 8 from the.
The 8, by the way, is impervious. So if the power effect is 4 or less, it has no effect at all.
It's definitely more than that.
Okay.
Just making sure we talk about.
I'm still learning it.
Yeah, making sure we talk about it just so that the chat and our players can remember. Impervious means that anything Any power that is less than half as powerful as your impervious has no effect at all.
Okay. Let me see, plus toughness, right? I apologize, I'm still learning.
You're all good. Roll your d20 plus your toughness.
And plus 8, right? For the thingy?
Oh, yeah, just add the 8 to your toughness, yeah.
Alright. 30.
Okay, again, you're unaffected, but mostly because of the force field. It dissipates most of it. It feels like a bit of a cold burst towards you, but nothing painful.
Hope will keep you warm.
All right, and then the one who's been like hooked up a thing to the other one, he hooked stuff up to the gun, ended up like messing around with some stuff, and at the end he like ends up like grabbing this thing that like powers up brightly and tosses it at Silhouette.
Oh no.
And Silhouette, what is your dodge?
My dodge is 1 because what kind of? Oh, my dodge is 1. Let's start.
All right. Basically, he's hitting you with like a light-based energy attack.
No!
He figures you're a shadow thing of some kind, and this is gonna work real good against that. So,
Who could have figured that out?
and yeah,
Alright.
Bastion and Pleiades are like, wow, yeah, he's so clever. He's totally known for like picking out weaknesses and working up a gadget quick to deal with it.
He's so clever. He attacked the shadow guy with light.
Right?
Which only makes more shadows.
Like,
if you do
man,
this.
what?
So, like,
how awesome!
This would be like a really, really good weapon to use against like vampires and stuff because it's like super bright. It's got some heat effect, but it's mainly like a it's a gizmo he worked up especially for you. So, are you especially vulnerable to this kind of thing? Does it?
Yes, because Silhouette is insubstantial, except when it comes to shadow-based, light-based attack.
All right, we'll go ahead and make your soak roll for that then.
Okay,
Bastion and
judge-
Pleiades are just like, brilliant. That was brilliant.
Right.
Soak is 27.
Did you add the 8 on top of that for?
I don't. I already have the protection power on.
Oh, okay, so
I
it's
don't know if
just
I
the
can
stack.
top it off again.
Okay, yeah. With that, it like kind of sears you and it's unpleasant, but it doesn't actually harm you then.
Yeah, the Silhouette's shadow shape, kind of shift a little bit. He seems to be surrounded by more screaming shadows as he's backing up from the light, but he reforms in his usual cutted silhouette.
Everybody's impressed about how you managed to resist that. Just how powerful are you?
Yeah, and the one who tossed the remaining ones are like all kind of look to see what happens. Then he seems okay afterwards. Like their shoulders all kind of sink together, and one of them says, "Oh dang."
Laughs Silhouette.
That's
And
creepy.
Then we're up to Silhouette's turn.
Glad you're all right.
Well, thank you. But that guy who threw the thing, no, didn't like. So he's gonna take a Shadow Blast. Check my no. Oh, that's a very poor roll. 16 to hit. Silhouette just launches shadow at him instead of having all the shadows around them attack them. This time it's more.
Yeah, they sort of like leap to the side and kind of land on the ground like nearby and like look over at the robot with the skeleton, the giant robot thing with the skeleton inside of him. Goes, "Blah!" Makes this little motion that's vaguely like the Catholic kind of cross gesture, but it's different in some other way. It seems to mean about the same thing to him in that moment. And Cora, it's your turn. There's still a few of these guys here. All 4 of them, actually.
All right. Well, with the damage they've been doing and the fact that they aren't getting my message to stand down for some reason, we're going to go into Dragon Girl. So I'm going to morph, and like that's my please stop doing what you're doing attempt. So I'm basically using that as an intimidation factor, but I'm going full out, and I don't get damaged as easily. So I turn into a 120-foot green dragon, and that's all I can do because this is my dazed roll. So my voice deepens from the Sphinx as I change, and my fur becomes scales, and I still have that silver branch down my side, but the voice deepens into this raspy, dark, dragon-sized voice. That's still Irish. Says, stop what you're doing. This is your last chance to get up.
So Bastion, you're sort of standing up all of a sudden. You were dead there. Your life flashed before your eyes. You fell to the ground. You breathed your last breath, and then
I realized
all of a sudden,
as my life flashed, it was very boring.
You're like your heads up display stuff, or if you have any of that, it's like showing all sorts of like huge, like weird over the top readings on your biomonitor settings. If you don't have anything like that, you're sort of seeing some like stuff appear as well, like showing like health readings in your vision for a moment that gets all staticky and then disappears. And you're basically like, well, there's no two ways about it. It's basically like you're hyped up on speed and nanites and all kinds of stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going to activate my protection power. So a purple force field appears around myself. And I'm trying to think of what all I can do besides activate that. I guess I'm going to move up to attack one of these guys so that I can actually attack the next round if I can't attack this one.
Okay, so you move up. You can move and attack.
Oh, okay.
You move up to the group, the line of.
I'm going to move up to the one that shot me.
Okay.
Because I'm very upset with him. And I guess I will try to kick him in the chest again.
As you move on up to him, he looks at you and says, "Oh, look at you all not being dead. Good for you."
I know, right? It's crazy.
Make the attack roll.
God, 14. Wow, I don't think I've rolled over a 10 once.
Says, if you're gonna come to the big leagues, you better bring a bigger bat.
It's fair. It's very fair.
And then
see, this is why I stay behind and just protect people. This is why I got the shield.
We go to Pleiades, your turn. Your gamma rays didn't work before. These guys have been getting shot at and dodging left and right, and
all right,
looks like your team is fairly evenly matched.
I will fly and maneuver myself so I can get everybody, all of the enemies, in my radius. I look down. Call me Slugger. Kugel Blitz. Burst area damage. Pretty much I take light and turn it and compress it so it becomes the light equivalent of a black hole. So It hits all of them.
Is that selective or anything?
It is not. 120 feet radius.
That's what I said, but I'm maneuvering so I just get the bad guys.
Yeah, but like Bastion went like right up to them, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, but I can fly around them.
It is 120 feet radius sphere, so it would be pretty hard to finesse in there.
Should I spend a hero point to do it?
I'd say you could spend a hero point to essentially pay for like an extra effort to make it more selective, or like, control it so it only hits what you want.
Yeah, so
pretty
you'd have
sure
to
you can
spend
do
an
that.
extra effort to do that, but you could use your hero point to allow you to recover immediately from the cost of the extra effort.
That I will do.
Okay.
How do I do it?
You say you do it. So it's an area effect attack, so I think they just make their soak rolls, right? There's no attack roll?
Yeah, pretty much I just stand up there and I just look down and just, call me Slugger. And just you see light and they're feeling a gravitational effect that starts crushing them and crushing them and crushing them. But it's unbearably bright. Because it looks really cool.
All right, and what is the effect of that?
It's DC 20.
I mean, but what is the effect? Is it a damage or affliction?
Oh yeah,
or...
it's a damage.
It's just damage.
It's just, it says cool. It's DC. DC 25.
I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's what they would need to dodge. Well, I don't know why it's there.
So there are
Burst area is normally
two of them that are like on the ground and like kind of it seems like they're having a real hard time. Maybe not totally out of the action, but like kind of out of the action for now at least. The other two are just sort of like grabbing at their heads or kind of like trying to, obviously having some trouble. They're resisting the damage to some degree, but they're still hurt and affected by it. So you've harmed two and really messed up the other two. And it seems to be working a lot better. And then Optimist, it's your turn.
Sorry guys, I'm still learning the game, so I apologize.
That's okay. I am going to maintain my force field around everybody and then give a rousing speech, something to the effect of, listen, we can't allow this man to run amok. It doesn't matter how cannony or zappy he is. This Xander fellow cannot be allowed to erase the timelines and destroy all of reality as we know it. But you four have been chosen to resist this evil. We've been chosen by whatever gods and powers to resist and to be the heroes that we were called upon to be. So be inspired, be hopeful, you can do this. And I will use my inspire power.
All right, and what does that do?
I inspire people to greatness. Once per scene, I can give a bonus equal to my inspire, which is 5. And that basically gives everybody on my team, a +5 to all checks this round.
All right.
Nice.
Hey, you're all feeling really inspired by that then. Just there's this hope within you that rises up. Well, maybe not so much in silhouette, but I mean, still sounds pretty good to you. You can go along with it, I guess.
It also ignores power limits, so we just push through whatever you want to do. It bumps you up.
So y'all feel pretty badass. Then it's their turn. Two of them are like just kind of laying there on the ground trying to recover. The other two that were injured, they're more in the dazed state. Like one says, "What? Destroy? That's not what we're doing." Yeah, the other one says, "Yeah, you can live on as our slaves." And the two injured ones are like, one of them is gonna he's the one who has he's now got this kind of hose dangling from his backpack down to the only semi-conscious one. He turns his gun over to a light beam setting and takes a pot shot at Silhouette. Hitting, definitely hits. Make a soak roll. It's a light-based energy attack. And the other one is going to crank his over to a different setting and fire at Pleiades. And this time it's firing out these kinetic slug projectiles.
I rolled an 18 on that soak roll.
Okay, so you are damaged and dazed. So -1 to future soaks and only a standard action your next round. And Pleiades, you what's your dodge? +10? I forget.
Let me see, where's
Your dodge defense?
it says
15.
Yeah, 15.
Okay, so you are hit as well by the kinetic slugs. He thought the cold didn't seem to have as much of an effect, so he switched to something else. But that said, you weren't invulnerable to the other one either. But go ahead and make your soak roll with your plus from the force field, if that's still going.
I think so, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. What was it? It's. I think it says 15. Nowhere near enough.
Right, you roll a d20 and add that.
Yeah, rolled that a 4.
Oh, I see. There it is. Yeah, with the 15. Ouch. Yep, that's going to. That's one step worse than dazed. I forget what the effect is off the top of my head. It's not going to drop you, but it's going to. I think you're hindered.
Boy, the dice sure are loving the future team, aren't they?
Can't roll for crap.
You were all cocky about your technology, but you can't shoot. It's like your stormtroopers.
Oh my.
Wow, that was low. That was low.
I didn't say it in dialect. That's totally Sarah being snarky, not cool.
I got it. It was still...
Optimus says, I get that reference. Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
I think I messed up in building this.
The power to travel backward in time is insignificant next to the power of hope.
I fucked up. Oh,
Yeah,
I messed up and put him in.
Okay, so I guess that's it for them, because half of them were taken down and the other half were kind of slowed down a bit there. But they made a good effort. Silhouette, on your turn. I believe you're dazed, but you can still act. That actually kind of hurt a lot.
It did. Silhouette, you can actually see like a hole in the shadow where that laser hit. He's like, why you? And he's gonna attack him again with his. No, there's two guys. He's gonna make the shadow mouth open beneath them again. So they got a soak at 23.
Let's see, one of them seems unaffected, the other one is affected by, he failed by like 1, so took a little damage there.
A little damage. So then DC 15 willpower for the blindness and DC 11 not to be teleported in the beast pit.
Yeah, he's good for those. Like, stop that. That's damn creepy. Just wrong. That's just wrong.
Silhouette seems very angry.
I'll take this moment to remind everybody in chat that in order to make our $30 goal for this hour, we would love for you to donate $10 or more, and you will give a reroll to one of our players, or you can alter the game yourself by adding a complication. We've already had a complication added in which Silhouette became super hungry, and so now he's trying to feed his shadow self. And we've already had a reroll given to Core. So if you want to influence the game, go ahead and go to the fundraiser link that's listed there in the chat, and you also can participate and alter the game. And now
I
we can
forgot
keep
what
going.
turn we're on.
Okay. Silhouette just went, right?
So, Core, it's your turn.
Oh boy. Alright, so I'm Big Dragon now, and they're just
really big dragon.
Yeah, they're just not listening to me. So we're gonna go ahead and use breath weapon. So that's gonna give me 2. That is my fighting.
Okay, so the one who avoided the attack and hadn't commented on like the thing, the shadows biting him, he like that one was commenting on the shadows biting him, like saying just that it right. The other one like looks up at the dragon about to breathe down at them and says, "Oh, come on now."
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll my fighting.
Is that an area attack or just like a individual directed blast?
Area. All right, so 18 plus 13, so that is 31.
That's definitely enough to hit. And what's the damage rating? Or the power level?
Damage is for me right now. Damage is 6. So I roll a d20 and add 6, right?
Nope. They have to stick against 15 plus that. So, yeah, he's hit by that, and then he goes, just sort of like ah! He sort of like puts his hands up and just like screams, almost like a Wilhelm, and then like he's still there, gotta dust himself. I was like, oh, well, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I put all my points into the intimidation side of things.
Should open a massage shop or something.
I'm insulted, but I'm all bark and no bite.
And, well, don't feel too bad. It is Xander the Cannon, which is super famous to people who, like, were born years after you, so.
That means nothing to me, but I'm just here to keep my friends safe.
Yeah, well, looks like you've been, managing that so far for the most part. They're mostly defeated at this point, but yeah, these two are still hanging on. Now we're down to Bastion's turn.
All right, how many enemies are within 60 feet of me?
Like all 4 of them.
All right.
2 of them are basically down and more or less out of the fight. I'm just going to count them out of the fight. The other 2 though are still basically up and injured.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do my alternative telekinetic power of burst area damage.
All right, how does that work?
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, just does burst damage to a 60-foot sphere around me as I just get angry and let out a telekinetic blast.
What's the damage rating or level?
It would be 10, and it's looks like a DC. I think DC 24 is what they got to roll, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, okay, so Bastion, you just sort of like focus and just let all this energy loose in the sphere around you, and all this rubble goes flying at it. It knocks down walls, like further in, like there's like concrete getting knocked in and starting to tumble down, and like there's more smoke that starts to rise from it, and like chunks of wall are blown out and whatever. There's this big old cinder block chunk that just goes flying past Cora's head, and a few smaller ones just go bouncing off of her giant dragon chest. One of them lands on a parked car and just smashes it. And there's just this rippling wave of destruction and just all this dust that kicks up and around and from that. And yeah, when all's said and done, like all four of those cowboy-looking dudes are not moving. They're on the ground, unconscious.
You said giant dragon chest, so I look down at it and go, "Hey, my eyes are up here."
And at that point, as we finish off the combat, you see that basically, like on the other side of the building, there's like these giant, like silo-looking things. It's all funky and fancy and imposing-looking experimental nuclear plant. There's this sort of other burst as rocks and rubble move, and this big old kind of spaceship-looking thing, roughly the size of the Millennium Falcon, though nowhere near the shape. It's more sort of rounded and forward-shaped, I guess. But it like rises up and kind of hovers for a minute, like back and forth, as if it's like not quite got control, and then kicks off into high speed with a sonic boom and flies away. And I think we'll call our break at this point. I think good be good to take a break in the middle of this.
Yeah, I will say that the last two things I was doing, like maintaining the force field, was tiring, and so I am now fatigued as a result. Actually, fatigued and exhausted. So I need a rest, and I just kind of collapse after he goes away. So now is a good time to take our break. 5 minutes?
Yep, sounds good. We will be back in 5 minutes.
All right, we'll see you all in 5.
That's perfect.
See you in 5.
say we're back on?
We're back on now.
Neeners.
Welcome back. It's the,
I'd say we're back on.
Yeah, watching the
There we
heroes
go.
get beat up.
Yeah.
Like, no, this ain't superheroes, man. Sorry, you're watching
But
Mystery
that's
Men.
good. Sarah's not back, but in the meantime, I wanted to show this off. Can you guys see this?
What is that?
This is something I picked up. One of the only things I bought for myself at Gen Con. It's like I bought a bunch of cityscape type stuff, some sci-fi cityscape.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So that way, when I paint up my cool minis, my Shadowrun minis, they'll have something cool to stand on.
I didn't know you did
That's
that
pretty
mini
sweet.
painting. You're gonna have to show me what your technique is, because I'm still a noob, so
That's all right. We're all noobs.
don't remind me.
But yeah, Oh, hey, thanks Plateau of Lang for the subscription.
Yay! 3 cheers!
I was gonna say,
Appreciate you.
so Gentonic said something nice. This is like her pre-Gen Con online con.
Aw.
Aw.
Well, it's Jen Tonic. She's awesome.
Yep, looking forward to seeing you at Gen
Thanks.
Con.
All the Shadowrun weirdos. No. I prefer to call myself an oddity, not a weirdo.
All right, so you managed to stop the guys who were, I guess, invading the break room, but looks like a spaceship of some kind has taken off, probably with more of those cowboys in it. And as you're looking around, and Optimist is sort of sagging and trying to recover, catch his breath after exerting himself like that with his projecting his force field out to everyone. You start to notice that there's something wrong. Any of you with any sort of knowledge of power plants and electronics can probably more specifically pick up on what's happening, but you all can tell that it isn't quite as it was. It's too quiet. And you all pretty much realize that the power plant doesn't seem to be running.
Yeah, I
Like,
pretty
it's
much
kind of cold and quiet here.
They've picked up the nuclear energy senses, and one of my visual senses is tracking, and that thing has an energy signature. I can follow it anywhere, even into space. So they've taken pretty much they've taken the reactor.
Yeah, it definitely left a sort of a trail of, particles or energy signature or something you could follow with your senses.
Oh yeah, this is alpha, beta. Look at all that atomic decay, and these guys don't know how to shield it. Well, these guys just pretty much left a trail of breadcrumbs. We can find it. We can follow it. And I can see it.
That is good, but and I could bring us there, no matter what. But I believe, in turns to Optimist, some of us need a little bit of rest.
Yeah, I could do with a little bit of sit down in.
How long do you think you need?
About an hour.
Does anyone have a ship?
As
I
the
can
crow
fly it.
flies.
I can fly. I can fly the ship. I can navigate.
Do we have a ship?
I can be anywhere.
Astro ship.
I'm pretty sure the Justicars have, this jet thing or something, but I'm not sure if it's a spaceship-rated thing, but I'm thinking you have some people from the future that can throw on some quick mods or something.
Oh, ma'am! Can you take our Justicar? Justicar? Anyway, and upgrade it into a help me. Chat, help me come up with a cool name for a Justicar ship.
Just a shuttle? Something better than that.
You made it, Dad. Whoever's helping you with anything.
Justicraft?
Something like that.
Well,
But
it can't be the ground vehicle, which of course would have to be the Justicar.
Right?
I can.
The jet of justice.
Jet's a car. Oh, Jet of Justice. I thought
The
you
Justice
were
Jet.
at the...
Just a jet. Just rocket. These are all good. Star Destroyer.
Let's just move on.
I can work to mod it. I'm gonna need some help. heavy lifting, something like that.
How long does it take you to recover from your fatigue status? Is it just like a few minutes of rest, or do you need to get like hours, or what's going on here?
I just need an hour.
Okay, so Optimist is going to need some time to rest up. Pleiades, you can sort of detect a trace. It looks like the craft actually left the atmosphere.
It doesn't matter. It's one of the superhero powers of tracking, specifically.
Right. As you're resting up, maybe some of you are watching TV or kind of kicking back and just, taking some time to get a snack, or just take your time to get ready and prepare yourselves for the next coming battle, because that last one was tough, right?
I'll make cookies for everyone.
Bastion actually died. That's probably not something you can do again and recover from, you don't think so?
And who knows the long-term effects of that?
Right, and but yeah, you've been injected with who knows what of this age's technology of medical stuff, experimental medical technology. So who knows what effects it'll ultimately have for you.
I feel like eventually it's just going to turn me into just a crabby old man who's just mad about everything. You faced down half a dozen versions of a famous space pirate that you heard childhood stories and movies of, like cartoons even. Core, you managed to defend some friends, but yeah, it hurt. You took some damage, and that was rough. You managed to do pretty well, but yeah, some of your powers just weren't enough either. So it was a little bit of back and forth there. Pleiades, you certainly had some significant effect with some of your powers, and yeah, Silhouette, you straight up ate a dude.
Yeah, but only one.
And it's a copy, so does it really count, right?
Yeah.
It seemed to satisfy. It seems to satisfy the shadow entity just as much as any other snack would. So
oh, fair enough. He's gonna hang out in the dark corner now to regenerate himself. Grow back that hole that he has in his chest.
All right, on
if he looks
television.
lonely, I'll go keep him company.
On television, as you're hanging out, you're seeing all these weird news reports of, dinosaurs appearing and attacking in the U.S. and South America, and Aztecs grabbing people and enacting blood sacrifices with tourists and the ziggurats. Let's see, armies of Napoleon. Fighting armies of Alexander the Great in Europe, and all sorts of just stuff out of time showing up on a very large scale and just causing chaos and destruction.
Timelines are starting to merge. Time's collapsing.
Yeah, we need to take care of this guy quickly because
whatever he's
can't happen.
Whatever he's doing seems to be progressively worse. If you don't stop him, you're not sure if you'll have you'll have time to take another break.
All right, well, let's go. Let's go get him.
In the meantime, Pleiades, you're able to sort of track the trace up to this planet's the Earth's moon, and he's apparently set up some sort of moon base in the time he's been here. You haven't gotten much readings, but there's definitely some sort of larger power source going there, and lots of different dust being tossed up, like lots of excavation is happening, and it makes it impossible to actually get a visual on what's happening up there.
What am I seeing in infrared?
A fair amount of heat, a lot of heated rock. Looks like there's a lot of people using a lot of tools to melt and blast away rock, probably to carve stuff up or maybe to do welding and stuff. From the EM readings, there's definitely a power source there. It seems different somehow from what there was before, but you definitely caught enough of the trace, readings to know that whatever was taken from this power plant on Earth went up there. He's probably got some other tech that he somehow took his power plant's output somehow from and
Or he used it to start. He used it as a energy source to jumpstart.
Yep.
Something else.
And based on what if what Neverman said can be trusted, which is highly suspect to some degree, this guy's somehow using the temporal resonator to copy himself, and probably just needs more power to do it more and faster. And
if he's pulling a Xehanort, I'm pissed.
Like when you're thinking about this, there could be what if you guys just faced 6 of them, and what if there's thousands now, millions, billions, with the ability to build his own tech and do stuff? He'll take over the universe. But what he's doing is also fraying the fabric of space-time.
And all of that activity on the moon is probably going to mess with how great it looks at night. We have to stop him.
If for no other reason.
The moon deserves to be pristine.
Right, I guess I can get us pretty much anywhere, but the moon is it's a far stretch. So are we
I can get us there.
Wait, we're really talking about going to the moon.
How about a little inspiration in the form of being talked to by the Optimist? That would crank up your power level by 5. Would that help?
Maybe.
What's your rank in teleportation?
5.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
Remember, I was sitting there modding your ship, modding the.
Oh yeah, we have a ship.
Duh, and I can fly it.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to remember that you guys have a Just-a-Jet.
Yeah.
I've
been sitting there making it so at least it can do short space jumps.
For those tuning in at home, lots of people in the Optiverse have already gone to the moon. So the Justicars, the Astro Chimp has already been there, the variants have been there, and now we're going to go. So I'm pretty excited.
I make no promises that you'll be able to come back.
That's okay.
You all strap into the Jetsicar. Pleiades has added a few last-minute modifications. The system's tools and tools here are actually pretty advanced for these times, better than what you'd expect. It allowed you to get a lot of work done pretty quickly, and you're able to do the boost and have the proper seal and life support systems, along with some small handheld devices that you had with you, and you've got it all rigged up, and you go flying off out of the atmosphere, and pretty soon you find yourself with a weightlessness of space.
I give Core a fist bump because this is pretty awesome.
I bump his fist 15 times because I'm so excited.
As you approach the moon, you kind of
somersault. You won't get another chance.
Kind of coming over the horizon of it, approaching the base, kind of maybe staying a little bit low so you can hopefully approach somewhat undetected, and you can see what's there from a distance. A lot of the dust is kind of cleared because the moon has kind of turned and moved on a bit since, but there's a trail of it still through the sky. Lots of it. Lots of moon dust and moon rocks kicked up. It looks like whatever the excavation and whatever is done at the moment. And it looks like as you get closer, what you see is, well, at the center of it, there's this kind of dome-looking thing that must be like a subterranean entrance, but scored in probably about 4 or 5 meter deep and 10 meter wide rivulets and divots through the ground on a large scale is essentially like a line art drawing of Xander the Cannon smiling and holding up his pistol at a profile. It's bigger than the size of most cities.
It looks just like the VR poster.
You could totally see it from Earth, and it's signed Xander the Cannon in cursive below. But it's
somebody pee on it.
So it's alien cursive.
No, he's defaced the moon.
Like I said, somebody pee on it.
Yep, and
Call the Astro Chimp we're here.
As you're approaching your ship, it looks like there are several different kind of big kind of space blaster pistol-shaped spaceships. 3 of them that are kind of rising up from the space base and approaching, looking like they're firing off some big old laser beam looking things. And as the comic book sort of shows close up on them in the canopies. Each one is piloted by a Xander the Cannon. So I think we'll just stick with the same initiative rolls, but we'll let Core break the tie on top of the order here. So Core, what are you doing? You're currently in the Jetsakar approaching the Xander base on the moon, but you're currently being intercepted by, it looks like, 3 of these things. And yes, you are out in space, so keep that in mind.
I'm still super excited and overwhelmed by all this, so I think at this point I'm looking around and I don't get space rules yet, so I'll look to Pleiades and be like, are they friends of yours?
It looks like they're like one of them like fires a beam of something towards the ship and it misses barely. Doesn't look like they're friendly.
All right, no. What do we do? Do we have spaceship weapons now?
We have one weapon, and I'm flying it.
There is looks like there is some controls for. Yeah, you do happen to know that the I think the Jetsakar has like a blaster system on it, and nothing fancy, but it might work.
Now here's the thing. He was a show off. He was pretty much like, very, very much into himself like that. Always wanted things big and flashy and stuff like that.
Think Kane from Shadowrun, but like sci-fi version. Well, more sci-fi version. If that helps.
He would suck in a game of chicken then, huh?
Yeah, Core's gonna kind of wait for the others because she's not the first to ever strike.
Silhouette then?
How far away are these ships?
I don't know, probably a few hundred meters. You're in space, so space fighting distances, like on the moon though.
Within 900 feet, maybe?
Sure. At some point in the round, we can say you're coming within that range. Maybe the lead one is about that close. Why not?
So Silhouette is gonna teleport in the dark corner of the ship and start attacking.
Oh, you're going from my ship to their ship, right?
Okay. Yep. You teleport in. I think that's your move action, right? And then you can still make an attack. You teleport in. He like turns over and sees there. It's like, oh no, not again. No, not me, please.
And the cockpit is enveloped in shadows, and he's gonna do his boogeyman attack. So he has to, soak 23 damage, and then the affliction and the movement.
All right, so he basically kicks a thing into a spin, pops the something in the life support to flush the air through and try to help or something. Slams the thing of his helmet down. Somehow, whatever, he rolls a natural 20 on a soak roll, manages to avoid any damage.
Damn it! He can still be blinded, I guess. No, it's link powers. And
I think for his action. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I have my teleport power. I have something special. That means that I can go back and forth. Oh no, that would be using all my movement because it was so far away. Never mind. You go ahead.
All right, so once that happens, let's see. We'll have Bastion go next. Then you're still in the Jetsakar. These ships are approaching. One of them is weaving a bit. Looks like it's having some trouble because Silhouette went somewhere.
All right, I am going to take my hand and place it on the side of the Jetsakar and create a force field of protection, telekinetic force field of protection around the ship.
Okay.
So the ship basically has a purple shield around it.
You know what I'm going to do, don't you?
I'm worried about what you're going to do. Is it going to be a repeat of Balfour?
No. Remember the incident in Wolf Array 63?
Oh, God. All right. Well, let me concentrate then.
All right, and James, I think you're cutting off a little bit at the ends here. Just make sure that you're holding down the push to talk button long enough. I'm not sure if that's the cause, but that's going to be my first guess.
Okay.
All right, then we have Pleiades. By the way, who's at the helm of this ship at the moment?
Me.
Okay.
I can fly.
Good.
Yeah, I actually have points in flying like spaceships.
Yeah, it looks like this thing's got shields now.
Excellent. I'm adding to it. I am putting up on the nose of the ship. You're gonna have to hold it. I look at it. You're gonna have to hold this. I got one shot. Do you nod?
Ramming speed.
Ramming. I am putting a damage deflector on the nose of this thing, where that entrance is, and aiming down and putting the boosters on. Ramming speed.
All right, give me a piloting check.
Here we go. Whoops.
You go bursting past the first one in the formation and between the other two.
Yeah,
aiming
if they're
right
taking
for
engagement with them, they're dumb.
Yeah, aiming right for that entrance, which is actually right where the eye patch would be in the giant image of Xander the Cannon that's now etched into the moon's surface.
In case our past heroes haven't figured it out, we are crazy.
Well, you're talking to a guy that eats people, so, I mean,
Here we go.
That's why I think you'd fit in just
24.
fine.
Okay, you zoom between through, you fly down, you line it up just right, you drill the ship, the Jetsakar, right into that, and I want to have everybody make a toughness roll.
Uh-oh.
And what is the bonus from the force field, Bastion?
It will be a plus 11.
And I've got 9.
Or plus 10, sorry.
Oh, I'm not
Oh, yeah.
flying, so I don't get my cool stuff.
Yep, I got mine, which is, I think it is, plus 10. So we're both kind of working in sync. I don't know if that adds any extra.
However your power works, just whatever the bonus is. It's just a physical kinetic damage. I think if you have two different powers working together, normally you would just use the higher of the two, but I could see using one to boost the other, maybe if it's the same kind of thing, maybe adding a +2, unless you have some other effect that you've worked into your powers, because there's lots of wiggle room in Mutants and Masterminds to make things up almost however you want. The moon again. Look at you, jaded Optiverse viewers. Saw it really. Gosh, we're doing the moon.
How do you want to do it since both of us are doing force fieldies?
Boom.
How do you want to do it?
The thing is, we had the moon set, and we might as well use it more than once.
Do you know how cheap it is, how expensive it is to keep changing sets all the time?
the comic book backgrounds were already drawn for the moon, so they're just reusing this.
Right.
Man, look at us rocking the toughness checks.
All right, so what have we got for toughness? Anybody? You're basically going up against a DC 30. Anybody
I got
fail that?
Oh, man! I got 28.
So if you fail by 5 or less,
I
fail
feel
by
like
5 or less.
yeah.
Actually, ultimately, as long as you don't fail by 15 or more, you're ultimately gonna have a moment to shake it off, right?
Yeah.
But so
I got 20.
what happens is you fly in, it crashes into the top of it. There's some sort of energy shield that it hits, and it sort of gives this sort of wave out in a grid form, and then turns red, and then collapses outward, all in just a blink of a moment as the ship starts to your ship hits and the front of it starts to crumple, and then it goes through and it hits the dome, and there's like inside the dome, like it's actually kind of a smaller room with like a larger tube going down in there, but like standing there is this guy who's it's Xander the Cannon, and he's just finished getting the coffee maker hooked up and working. Just got the cup out, about to take a sip, sees the ship coming and says, "Oh man," and like quick takes a sip of coffee before he's crushed by the smashing in of the
knows how to live.
So it smashes in and through, and then like barrels on through down this cylinder, and then opens up into a larger like canyon space, and starts to tumble and fall and smash in just an absolute unrecognizable wreck in the middle of this sort of open underground space where it looks like essentially this big machine rigged up on one with lots of tubes and stuff hooked up to it, a bunch of different wires. It's all like jury-rigged sci-fi stuff, things glowing and pulsing and, various different sort of occasional zaps of electricity here and there just kind of going off in random directions. And but it's all sort of hooked up to this other device that's got this kind of ring-like thing that almost looks like a Stargate. And Xander is right up there, and he jumps through it and then jumps back again, and each time he jumps through there's somehow like you can't quite follow it initially, there's like another one. He's starting to copy himself with incredible speed. It looks like there's maybe like 80 to 100 of these dudes in this underground canyon, most of which are carrying like tools and like doing excavating, and some of them are setting up buildings and facilities already.
So it sounds to me like we just skipped all the mooks and went straight to the boss fight.
Yeah,
I have an idea.
Crash into this place.
I am a pilot, not a fighter pilot.
I have an idea.
There's basically like you have a moment to like pause and like, kind of pick yourselves up and shake yourselves off. Some of you might be hurt a little bit, kind of look around and see that you're all alive. Like none of them have actually like entered the place. Like outside, there's like, these guys are like standing around, like some of the like scratch each other's heads. Like, are you gonna like you? And like they're starting to like figure out what they're gonna do about this. And most of them are kind of like waiting to see with their guns out. Like there's a bunch of guns pointed at this wreck. So inside, in the panel, Optimist is making his entreaties to the team. So go ahead.
So you said there was an underground full of these guys that are multiplying?
Yeah, you guys found like this underground moon cave.
Okay, so what if I have a Nova burst damage thing as well? So what if Pleiades and what if I fly her in there, and like me and Pleiades just like go Nova at the same time, and we do a teamwork Nova test?
Actually, I got an idea. If you want to work together on this, it'd be even more messed up.
Then we can like take all of these guys out at once.
Yeah, you ever heard of a tachyon?
That must be something that smart people say, because Astrochimp talks about that sometimes.
Tachyon, it's a theoretical
I've always thought it was
that
just
faster than
the
light.
art of not wearing fashionable clothes.
That is true. No, that's techie off. But no, it's a theoretical particle that goes faster than light. Now, that would be, if we go that way, that means time goes backwards.
And we could undo the damage to the moon!
That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, knowledge in physics and astrophysics and astronomy, stuff like that. Gravity and stuff works really weird. It could do really weird things with time. And throwing a couple theoretical particles, we might be able to pull something off if you guys want to.
I don't have any of those theoretical particles on me, unfortunately.
No, but you can help me manipulate them.
I believe I can, therefore I can.
I don't even have to believe it, I know it. I've seen what you can do. It's an absolute fact.
That makes it less hopeful.
That is, the thing is, like, I have hope in science, and that is what I have operated on. So that's what gives me hope.
So in the meantime, while you guys have been having this long conversation, outside, some of these guys have like flown up on their jetpacks and like set something up to like set up this like energy barrier that sealed the place so the air isn't flying out anymore. And some of the other ones have begun set up these devices around the like these little devices around the ship. And by the time you're finishing what you're doing, like there's another, and now there's like this energy dome like up and around your vessel.
We need Astrochimp here to tell us the smart, like, jerry-rig things, but we have Pleiades instead, and she can tell us what our plan of action is.
No.
Bastion and Core and Silhouette, what have you been doing while Optimist and Pleiades have been discussing? Have you been listening in and paying attention to that meeting, or doing something else?
Well, Silhouette made his way back here because he was in this other guy's ship trying to eat him, and he's like, and you see the ship crashing in there. No more time to play, and he recoils back in the corner and pops in their ship.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were in that other ship. I kind of like skipped away from you. That guy basically ended up like hitting the eject button to get out of there. So he went flying out, and the ship was going to go crash. So you could go chasing after him if you want, or do something else. There are 2 other ships out there. You could go like nom, I suppose, and we can skip past that without. Well, it's not really important at this point.
If he can get some nom on the way back, of course he will. But if he's, it seems like we're in time schedule here, so he's just gonna teleport all the way.
Okay, so we'll say about the time Optimist and Pleiades are coming to the end of the conversation where I interrupted them, is like Silhouette is teleporting into the ship there. In the meantime, Core and Bastion, you've discovered that you haven't died in the crash, so yay for you. What's next on your agenda?
Well, the second that Pleiades starts talking all the science stuff, Bastion tunes out and is watching what's happening around the ship. And the second they get that field, like, can we make a decision on what you guys want to do? Because they're doing stuff, and it doesn't look like it's fun.
I can undo some of it. But here's the thing. What do you?
All right, hold on. Core, what are you doing?
I am trying to think of how I can help outside the ship, but I don't know that I am not experienced in if my shape-shifting would allow me to breathe not air or deal with cold of that kind. So I'm kind of feeling stuck in here, and I'm just watching the 2 of them waiting for a game.
Oh, question. You can transform into anything, right?
Pretty much.
Tardigrade.
I'm sorry.
They can survive in the vacuum of space. Tardigrades. Water bears.
I don't know.
Oh, I'll pull up a picture.
Okay.
They are. Let's put it this way: is like if you know what it is, and I will pull up like what a tardigrade is. They're microscopic creatures, and but the thing is like. Well, you know what? You can tell the rules of physics to sit down, shut up, and take a knee. So you can pretty much make yourself a tardigrade, which is completely immune to the vacuum of space. It has survived on the outside of spaceships. But you can make yourself a big one.
Seeing during this conversation, it looks like now they're sort of most of them are sort of forming like a perimeter with guns at the ready, like surrounding this. But now they're like. Some of them are gesturing towards some of the others, and like there's a pack of about a dozen that are running toward that portal thing. Looks like they're gonna try like running through like more of them at a time, even faster.
Indirect blast.
Looks like things are getting worse, like exponentially as time is passing.
You want to just blast out of here and just
stop that.
Guns running. Pell-mell.
I mean, you said it well, but I'm already up there.
As you guys are deciding on this, and as you're explaining to me things I don't understand, I just get the idea and start transforming into a very familiar ape shape that has a spacesuit.
She turned into Astrochimp.
Oh! That works.
Cam cameo, Lang. Get ready.
So, Optimist?
What do I need to do with the
We're going to break the
tachiware?
laws of physics. No, what we're going to pretty much do is break the laws of physics. All I need you, if you can blast and amplify. And if blast, amplify, focus, I'm going to pull the rest.
I'm sure I can pull it off.
All right, at this point, like a dozen of these guys
Keep
go
them off
running
us.
through the portal thing, and like more of them just kind of pour out the other side like a funnel. Like there's dozens of them now. And then like there's this sort of like weird kind of like shudder through the air, so to speak. Though the air isn't terribly present. And like all of you kind of look at each other, and like each of you, what you see, it's like there's this dividing effect. Like there's several of you pulling apart and then snaps back together. But you all feel a bit disoriented for a moment there, and just things feel off and weird and thin.
Let's go. We don't have much time. Guys, flood the area. If these guys are organic, they're going to be to radiation. Anything that has radiation leaks, break it open and dose them. You have shields?
There's another panel.
Let's go.
There's another panel that shows, like in the distant past, there's a group of dinosaurs, like duck-billed dinosaurs near the water, and they're running from a T-Rex. And as they run, like suddenly there's this like portal that appears, and one of them like runs through it, and then another shot shows the moon with the Xander the Cannon's face out there, and a couple of crashing spaceships, and then suddenly like this duck-billed dinosaur like running through and looking confused and floating through space. And now we cut back down.
I saw that document. We don't want it. Let's go.
We cut back down to the zooming on through down that shattered tube as the camera. Well, I guess I'm splitting genres here because we're actually in a comic book. You know, a few different panels sort of cuts as the camera goes down to like the dome that's surrounded by like 100 of these dudes, and the portal thing where they're rushing through, and there's like 100 more at least, and they're looking to like duplicate themselves even further. And but inside, just the absolute horrible, unrecognizable smashed tin can wreck of the Jetsacar. The rest of you are about ready to go and do whatever you're gonna do inside that dome. So,
did we really just wreck the Justice Schooner?
Oh, it's toast. Yes.
Oh,
she smashed.
That's why I'm selling time travel. It'll undo this.
She smashed into the moon. So, all right. What you doing? What's happening?
I'm turning invisible. So that way, it's just, I'm going to tell them to keep the blasts off of it. Anyone that has energy powers or anything else like that, I'm going to need anything to focus.
What? Focus on what? The machine?
Okay.
I'm going to let you guys see what the hell I'm going to be throwing out. Usually you can't see it. So.
If you say so.
Alright, I'm pretty much going to be running towards the portal. Towards where the energy input is. Well, flying while invisible, and what I'm going to do is, instead of having it go with, because they're using regular electromagnetic, whatever the hell it is, analyze it, find the frequency, pull a tachyon, which is the anti-version of that, which is a theoretical particle that's faster than the speed of light, to undo everything they're doing. So if it's clockwise at 120, I'm turning it counterclockwise at 120.
That was a lot of words for Core as Astrochimp. So she just looks at the gun that comes with Astrochimp's thing and goes, I wonder what this does. And
Keep shooting them.
Is gonna go ahead and jump into space, because why not? I'm in a spacesuit.
You can. That's awesome.
You come bursting out of the ship, and then find that there's this dome. It's kind of this bluish shield dome that's surrounding all of you, and like all these guys are like standing around out there, and you can see the other ones running through, and they're just like duplicating out more and more, and one of them is sort of like standing back by the machine, which is starting to kind of glow red, and like some of the moon rock around it starting to darken. He yells back, says, "Captain, I do not think she can hold it."
That's why I'm grabbing Optimist, and it's like, anyone that wants to come with me.
And about 24, like there's a bubble that points to about 24 Xander the Cannons yell back, "We need more power!"
I understood that reference. So I'm gonna fly to the middle. I'm just gonna fly where I can get to explode on the most of these Xanders.
Yeah, they're all pretty much hanging out with their guns, tracking and pointing all of you. Some of them have like these little cover emplacements they've set up. Other ones have shields. Some of them have little vehicles that they're in, little walking robot things, or just this wide variety of like gadgets and things. Like an army of these guys, and there's more and more of them multiplying just as the seconds go by.
How are they all multiplying?
They're running through this portal thing at the back at the other side of the room.
Let's destroy the damn portal!
That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm putting it in, and the opposite energy will suck them all back. Yes,
realizing that their time is limited because you guys crashed their party, so they've been running through the portal. Bastion has filled you all in on this while you were having a big long conversation in the crashed shuttle.
Yeah, they're figuring out what to do. I'm gonna go ahead and start poking buttons on the spacesuit and see what happens, and see if I can trigger the super fast or the super big or the Nutella
I don't think your powers work that way.
Nutella pocket.
It's ultimately like your own power is what they're able to replicate. So it's I guess your magic. So whatever your magic is capable of doing, like whatever you believe it can do and can direct it to do, and what's within the limitations of its abilities, you can do. I'm not sure if you could duplicate like something that would be pure tech of his, like his gun. But
okay.
I don't know what the limitations of your power is exactly.
So let's go ahead and go supersized. Let's go ahead and go supersized and see if I can like grow myself big enough to like pick up this spaceship like a toy.
All right, so you go huge. Like how big do you get?
Are we talking a King Kong size?
We're talking like bigger than King Kong. We're talking about what I did to fight that shell creature.
Okay, you rise up and you hit this energy shield bubble. It starts like overloading, but as it does, it's discharging all of its energy into and through you, and it's very painful. Give me a toughness save.
Stop that. It's 12, but I have a reroll, guys. I have a reroll.
You do. You use your reroll.
Thanks, Cool.
Yay! Mwah!
Because Cool decided to give to the Shadowcasters Stream-a-Thon. He was able to win a reroll for Core.
I just saw that you dropped in the giant Astro
Wait, what did I miss?
There we go, 24.
Okay, with the 24, you're like sort of hitting the extent of it. Its energy is coursing through. You're sort of roaring in pain, like you're sort of trying to like shift up to the size. You're starting to fill the space up. Like parts of you are growing bigger than others disproportionately because of the space, and you're kind of like pushing and pulsing against it. The magic is kind of glowing and pulsing through you, and it's getting painful. But suddenly, the dome shatters, and you fill up like suddenly like a balloon just suddenly inflated. And you're this huge form. You kind of have to duck a bit, and you bump your head like really hard on the ceiling, and it hurts a bit. But you're like -1 to further toughness saves, but that's it. You just take a little bit of bruise.
As this happens, and I beat through that pain, I go, I am fucking Astro Chimp!
Yeah!
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
Booyah!
Whoops! Bleep that in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone clip that specific just chunk.
There'll be a glitch there.
So there's like this whole like half-page panel image of like these like guys like like rocks are falling, and like the thing is shattered out, this big old like thing, and like the really pointy bubble, like the jagged spiky speech bubble that's like, I am, blah blah blah, with the little censored symbols, Astro Chimp. Several exclamation points. So
Hooray.
all in Comic Sans, of course.
The only place it's acceptable.
Brian, thanks for donating to the SCN. If you want to introduce a complication or give someone a reroll, just let us know in the chat.
I think it's time for a new round of initiative rolls. So everyone roll a d20, add your initiative bonus, and I'll ask you for your numbers. So we'll start with Opti. What's yours?
I got an 18.
And Pleiades?
Hey, so did I.
And Silhouette.
5.
Core.
23.
Also,
Yeah,
if you
I'm
like
going
this, if you like this music, this is provided
12.
by Prism Shard himself. The Optiverse.
I only got a
theme song.
12. This is ruddy brilliant. I gotta say, I'm loving the music. It's ruddy brilliant. Only got a
thank you.
12. I suck.
And Silhouette.
5.
5?
Okay, so
Yeah.
Core on 23.
So, Bastion had an 18, though.
Oh, yep, I heard.
Okay.
I got it down. So Core is first on 23.
So I'm
Well-
out in space just growing right now, right?
Oh no, you're inside this moon cave.
Oh, the moon cave. Gotcha. All right, so I'm just gonna start King Konging things and like picking guys up and throwing them.
All right, go ahead and give me an attack roll using your fighting. Or your combat
That is the
skill.
most awesome thing I have heard ever. You are so awesome.
You said what kind of roll? I'm sorry.
It's an attack roll, for fighting. Like whatever dice you roll when you want to hit somebody.
I rolled a 3, but that's plus 8, so yeah, 11, but still.
Okay, so you're like moving and thrashing around, and you're kind of probably knocking some people over and smashing some stuff, but mostly just like, beating up the moon. And these guys are like running and dodging, and you're kind of causing lots of, chaos, but no actual effect. Other than looking cool because you're, big and awesome. Next is Bastion.
All of the government sensors on the moon are watching Astro Chimp beat the hell out of the moon, wondering like, what in the world? He used to be up there defending the moon, and now he's destroying it.
Now he's destroying the moon.
I just talk to myself. I go, "Who's the sidekick now?"
I am going to jump out of the ship and find activate my force field around myself, and I'm gonna
Good move.
find. Say again.
Good move.
Yeah.
Activating your force field on yourself in the combat. I was,
We wouldn't want a repeat of the last time. I
Right,
find
yeah.
things. And I'm going to find a 60-foot radius that has as many of those guys as possible, and I'm going to do my telekinetic ground and pound burst area damage attack.
All right, you fly forward and do a telekinetic ground pound at a big concentration of them. It's not hard. There's lots of them all over.
The ones that are trying to avoid the giant monkey.
After you're killing me right now.
All right, so what's your attack roll?
It's actually, they have to roll a resistance against a 24 for 9 damage.
All right, just because
I found
I'm going
something
to
that
give,
works.
and maybe not for all the rolls, but at least for this one, I'm going to give them minion stats. So just for failing their toughness check, they're taken out. So you like hit them, like a whole bunch of them knocked back and blasted away, and they seem to like blast apart, like
Nice.
like kind of shred away in a non-creepy, gory way, but like in a creepy, weird, like like they're maybe thinly made of reality kind of way. And one of them that like sees that happen is like says, "Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. I don't think this plan is working like we thought. Keep going. Make more." So, next would be Optimist.
Okay, so am I at the part now where I can? Well, have we and Pleiades? I wasn't clear on what she wanted to do with the tachyons, but assuming that we had a plan.
She's got some sort of a plan. We'll find out on her turn what happens.
So I don't know what the plan is, so I'm going to hold my action until I know what she wants me to do.
All right, so next on 15 would be Xander's the Cannons. A whole bunch of Xanders are mostly going to be like focusing their fire, just tons and tons, like tons of beams and some rockets and guns and all kinds of weapons are being fired at the gigantic King Kong space-looking thing. So, Astro Chimp, you're getting attacked. I'm going to work this out like 5 attacks with multiple others assisting. So they're all auto hits because the attack bonuses are so high. So just go ahead and make 5 toughness rolls. Don't forget your penalties if you have any from previous injuries, as you're being hit like a lot. You're essentially resisting. I'm just gonna say, I'll let you know straight up. It's damage or DC 27 for each of these tests, and there's 5 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, basically like an army of sci-fi pirate cowboys are focusing fire on the giant monkey. I'm essentially having a lot of them do the aid another action on each other, so I get to skip rolling dice on the attack rolls.
So I'm rolling my toughness.
Yes, 5 times. You want a 27 on each. How much you miss it by is important. If you miss any of them, of course. I'm sure you'll pass them all with flying colors.
All right, well, I currently have a plus 12 to toughness, so that is a 26 for my first.
Okay, keep going.
$23, I'm doing great here, guys.
Okay. Keep going.
All right, that's 27.
Okay, keep going.
That's 24. Or, I'm sorry, plus 12, so... Oh, and that would be 18. That's 5, right? I added, right? Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you are shot and blasted, like there's explosions and laser beams and cuts and all sorts of injuries all over you. Fortunately for you, they're all tiny. The end result is you're suffering -4, in addition to any other penalties, to any future toughness checks, and you are dazed, so next round you only get a single standard action. But you have withstood this withering, massive array of gunfire. In the meantime, like a bunch more of them have jumped through their gate, and there's like 50 more guys back there than there were like before. And like there's just more shuddering of the time space just starting to unravel itself a bit. Let's see, how much time do we have? We have 35 minutes left of the stream, right?
Yes, but we wanted to end a little bit early, so let's just call it 30 minutes.
Yep, understood. So I think we're keeping good pace here. So we'll keep going here. That was their turn. So on 12 now, it's Pleiades' turn. All right. So what are you doing power-wise?
All right.
I mean, I understand like the comic book technobabble,
Yeah.
but
but
like what power are you using?
turning invisible, and I have my EM blast. That is energy variable, subtle, and indirect. So pretty much what I'm doing is, since my my light energy analytic senses are always up, I'm getting the waveform of what's going into it, inverting it, and then doing I'm pretty much conjuring a theoretical particle waveform of it and undoing it. It's pretty much opposite. So it's time going forward, then I'm doing time going backwards. It's the
She's moving it from blow to suck.
Thank you. I just didn't want to go into it. Yeah, I'm pretty much trying to nullify and undo.
Reversing the polarity. Okay, but,
Of the neutron flow.
It sounds like what is the power that you're using though? What does it do? Like game wise, what power effect does it have?
Let's see, where is it? Let's see, it is... come here, you dummy. It's pretty much, I am using a electromagnetic spectrum blast and pretty much flooding the area with the anti-energy of what's going on in there. So pretty much it's just like, all right, Yeah, you're positive, I'm
This would
negative.
be
I'm blasting all my
This would be a
energy.
hero
You
point.
can-
This would be a hero
you
point
can-
maneuver.
Yeah, so you'd essentially be like using an extra effort to like have the power do like an alternate effect or something else. You're essentially trying to like reverse or perhaps nullify the
Well, what I'm trying to do is there's
MacGuffin?
energy going into it. I'm trying to turn it off and blow it up.
So could I also use an extra effort and do a teamwork test?
I would say yeah, you could do like an aid another with extra effort. You can sort of help channel the energy. You realize it has to be like it's not just generally out there. There's like this machine that they've got this powered up thing. It's very glowy, so you sort of like help direct the energy toward that, and you're trying to like reverse it and undo the thing. And I guess Optimist, give me a power check. Then I'm gonna call it a DC. It's just a DC 10 to pull off the aid, I believe. Jules, I think Pleiades is going to have to make some sort of a science-y check for this to have any chance of it having an additional effect besides just damage. So, do you have a science skill of some kind or technology?
I got a couple.
What have you got? I think something that would pertain to like really like weird theoretical
Astrophysics.
space. All right, sounds good.
Expertise
That sounds
astrophysics.
All right, give me a roll for that, or if you have an ability to like take 10 or 20 or something, just let me know what your result is.
So I got a 14. I'm going to use a hero point to re-roll that.
All you need is a 10. Opti,
Oh, then
so-
I'm not going to do that. That's going to... I'm going to keep it.
So do you have a special thing that lets you help extra on teamwork? I think there's an advantage for that. That sounds like an Opti thing.
I
Is there
actually
anything?
do, yes. I have
Okay.
leadership and teamwork.
All right, so Jules, you're going to get a +5 on one of your rolls. Just one roll, but a +5.
right.
Either on your science check now, or you're going to have to like make a power check to do this
I
thing.
don't know how
So
power checks work, so
you're going to roll a d20 and add your power level of the power you're using. +5 if you want to use the thing from Opti, which would be a good thing to use it for.
So let's see. Crap baskets.
So yeah, first the science, the astrophysics skill check.
All right.
To sort of
I'm just trying to figure out how that works.
calibrate your stuff. It's a d20 plus your skill bonus.
All right.
Your skill has just a plus whatever based on the
It's
ranks
usually-
plus the attribute.
Yeah, it's usually your ranged combat or your close combat, depending on what you're using.
This was an astrophysics science type skill
Oh,
check.
gotcha.
though.
Just a
So
smart.
you just have a skill, and there's a bonus next to the skill for. it's the
I'm
bonus
looking
plus
at it. I'm
attribute.
trying to. So I have
I'm gonna call this a difficulty 25 science check. If you can pull that off, you can make this attempt. If you can't pull that off, then well, I'm not gonna say you can't do it, but we'll make it harder or something.
That is. I'm just trying to figure out how this works.
All right, what's
Oh,
your
crap baskets. Hang on.
what's your power level of your
What,
character?
for the-
Was it 10?
What? What do you mean? Isn't it 10? Isn't it everybody?
No, there's different characters from different campaigns here, so
I'm
it's
only.
somewhat varied.
I think I'm
And
10.
what's
then.
your intelligence bonus?
Intelligence bonus is. It's. I have an intellect of 3.
Okay, so roll and add 13. Unless
you.
you find another number before then, we'll go with power level for your skill rank.
I apologize. So plus 13.
Yep, you need to get a 25, so it might.
Yeah, I think I've been adding the wrong crap. So
It's possible you have a much higher skill rank than that because you might, but
hang on. I don't know. 27.
27. Okay, you think you're pretty sure you've got the right readings that you need to replicate the particles to do the reversal doohickey polarity thingamajigger, and you're pouring this energy into the whatever strange power production system that you don't really completely understand.
Don't have to. I just have to stop it. I just think the easiest way to stop darkness is with light and vice versa. So
but then you realize it's a pretty touch and go, because if you stop it one way, you might stop it, and that's okay. If you stop it another way, you might end up with a really, really big hole in the moon.
Exactly.
And
I don't want to do that.
And all your friends. Of course, that would potentially save the world too, so it's worth a try. Go ahead and give me that power check. Roll a d20 and add the power level rating of your power with the +5 for the optimisting.
Okay.
That's not a good term to use. Never mind. Let's pretend I didn't say that.
Okay, so
optimizing.
Optimizing. And the power level is that. Where does the crud monkeys? I'm looking for it.
All of your powers will have an effect level of some kind, pretty much right next to where they are. That's just
most of
probably
them are 10.
All right, and Opti gave me +5.
Yep.
Cross your fingers. 31.
Okay, yeah, with a 31, you blast into this thing, and it was already starting to overheat. The one who was starting to warn the other ones about too much power is, no, that's too much, stop! And it starts to glow, and there's an explosion there, and it blasts there's this huge lump of ball of light that rises up and fills a good chunk of the cavern. Just stuff and people and cowboys and pirates are blasted out in all directions.
Pirates?
And
cool.
Part of these guys are space pirates. This guy is, however you want to put it. The ceiling of this cave is blasted off, and the eye patch blows out, and all these different space cowboys are sent flying off into space along with their stuff, as well as you guys are basically probably those of you who can't fly and can't grab onto something are probably starting to fly off out and away towards the moon as well with this blast.
Spaceship, grab them!
It seems like you've probably made it stop working, maybe.
Are there still these Xanders everywhere?
It looks like there's a bunch of Xanders floating and flying all over the place. Some of them are firing off grappling hook thingies. Looks like they all have jetpacks. They're starting to start to reform and do things and start moving back and around, and they're reeling from the chaos of what just happened. But yeah, it still looks like there's a bunch of them, and now there's basically this big old hole divot there where there was once a bunch of them, and there's just too much dust and debris and stuff to really tell what's going on there at the moment. So at that point, I guess we'll go to Silhouette. You're last in the round.
Silhouette had a plan to try and prevent people from going into the portal, but now the portal is all explosions and stuff, so
that means there's a lot of shadows you can hide in.
That's a good point. But yeah, he's gonna teleport closer to the explosions and trying to eat some remaining pirates that are floating and running around.
Okay.
So, I don't know how much he can get with his 30 cubic foot of area of effect, but he's gonna try and consume people.
I guess Silhouette, give me a perception test.
All right. $21.
With the 21, you're definitely noticing that there's something up with the aftermath of this explosion. It's like there's something spiraling inwards toward the center in there. That doesn't seem right. You think there might be some further danger.
Okay, then. He doesn't know much about that kind of stuff, but he's gonna get closer and try to see what it is and what he can do about it. He can teleport it away, or if he can, just, what is going on? That's what he's trying to.
Alright, as you get closer, there's some sort of weird, time-space energy vortex happening, all sorts of like strange probabilities occurring, like little blocks appearing in space, and like screams and sounds and weird like whooshes of people, and mostly related to like the kinds of things that were happening around at the moment, but also just some weird whacked out stuff, spaces and sounds. It gets weirder as you get closer to it, and you kind of feel yourself being sort of swirled and sucked towards it. So go ahead and give me a will defense roll.
Okay. $19.
Okay. With the 19, you kind of feel yourself being pulled towards it, but not enough to where you're like sucked in. But you think it might be hazardous for you to like be this close or stay here. Whatever it is does seem to be intensifying though. So.
Okay. He's gonna move away. That's for sure. And then, well, whatever this is, if he's gonna contain it, he's gonna have to send it somewhere else because that's what he does. So maybe he'll try to create a shadow portal around it to prevent it from expanding and just suck it into the shadow dimension by using an extra effort to do that. And maybe a hero point after that to recover it.
Okay, so you take this thing, whatever it is, and attempt to like suck it into the shadow dimension. It's connected through that, and it starts to like pull a lot of that through it. Like there's some people who get sucked in. Some of the copies of Xander the Cannon get pulled in. Probably screaming. They start to like spread out and spin and spiral as they get closer to the center of it. It's it's weird.
The shadows from the portal are trying to snatch at them as they fly by, trying to grab them before they go in to claim them for themselves.
All right. And some of them are succeeding, and ultimately this is all sort of spiraling into and through the shadow portal, and then you guys sort of see like all this dust sort of like spiral around and a little like kind of a dust tornado, and then shoop into this shadow portal, which is basically like is now like this sort of empty, relatively clean space moon chamber. Outside, it looks like a bunch of these Xander the Cannons are sort of each kind of flying off and spreading out and saying things like, "So long, partner. Good luck. So much for the universe dominating, but guess there's a bunch of us. Let's go have some fun." They're starting to spread out and go find their own fun, I guess. But all over the world, the Napoleonic armies are starting to fade and disappear and like fall back through their own portals. And I'm not going to say the damage is undone. There's a lot of wreckage and damage left from the results of this, but just about everything else that seemed to pop through and be out of time, probably all of it, maybe not, ends up like disappearing and popping back through and appearing back in their own times. And that leaves you all.
I heard the Golpeador was down in South America holding off his country from being overrun. That was Kenji's character.
Yep. Unfortunately, the tourists who were blood sacrificed are still dead, even though the Aztec priests are gone back home.
Right on. So we won.
You find yourself standing in this really, really huge crater-like hole in the moon, which is essentially marking the eye patch of the giant monument to Xander the Cannon. That is visible from Earth.
How do we fix that?
You guys should make a moon base.
But there is a moon base.
It'd be very lonely.
Yeah, this should be y'all's new base of operation. You can look down on the Earth from here and see more.
There's literally a moon base, though. That's where Astrochimp is from.
Well, then,
I thought it was a space station. I didn't realize it was on the moon.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I'll change back into my own form, and then as the pixie, and high five the optimist.
Is Astro Chimp on the other Killing Time Part 2?
No, he's not.
Okay. In that case, then I will have him show up with the spaceship to give you all a ride.
Yeah, he saw the explosion on the moon and was like, yeah, I should probably go and check that out.
And it's its own sort of dry tone. It's like, well, this is going to take a while to clean up. I'm glad it's not my problem. You need a ride?
Definitely take a ride. And also, we should get these guys to pimp out the spaceship that you're in. So that we have a cooler spaceship later.
Yeah, because
so this is
wrecked.
So this is the monkey you were copying?
Yeah, he looks very familiar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To be fair, it was much
Nothing happened, Astro Chimp. Nothing at all.
Oh, it's one of those things. All right.
All right, we got 15 minutes for you all to donate to the SCN before we peace out for this time. You can give a reroll, or you can introduce a complication. You have 10 minutes, and Cliff will complicate whatever's going on in 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, honestly, at this point, I think we're kind of wrapping up the comic book. I don't want to,
This is the letter section.
Stuff. Yeah, it's the letter section
where stuff
in the back.
really happens.
Cora would definitely go around with her, to all of her new friends and high five them and congratulate them on a job well done. I don't know.
You're gonna high five a wall?
I'm gonna. It's the end of the comic book. It's no effect. It's like what I'll do is, I will pretty much that looks like the sparkly crown of Cassiopeia. I'm taking like little flings of light and just kind of have it halo around your head, just because.
This is so exciting! Look, I'm like a space princess.
This is too
You
bright.
definitely were a warrior princess today. I'm going to, in the meanwhile, I'm going to be picking up pieces of tech from everything that blew up. And everything is like, I think we might want to analyze this. You guys might be able to use this if there's still residue.
Oh, there's like
From what he
nothing
did.
left to analyze as far as that goes. There's some debris that maybe got blown clear here and there, but there was nothing.
I can fly out into space and get it. I am immune to the vacuum of space and can, I don't breathe, so.
Yeah,
I was
but
going
all
to say I
the
can
really,
breathe in space, but I'm like, that's kind of weird.
all the really good stuff, that like big like energy thing, and then like the portal that was attached
know.
using the temporal resonator, that's all like erased from existence.
But what I'm thinking is like if the Justicars have any like a psychometer or something like that, they can use it. Just like, is this had the same kind of evil feel as, you know what I mean? So you're like,
feel like-
crap, this is, you know what I mean?
I feel like Pleiades and Astrochimp would just have the most boring conversation ever that nobody understood. It would be amazing.
Sorry.
But
I didn't make a boring character.
Like everybody else just listens to them talking like, I don't understand, but they sound so smart.
And I'm gonna say like
Astro would totally condescend to her all the time.
Even though
also
she's
in the
way
epilogue-
smarter.
Also in the epilogue, I want to say with Xander the Cannon, each one of them, there's a number of different panels that show them in different locations, the different Xanders that have traveled around. They're each doing different things, and they find themselves fading and disappearing. Each one with the like, dang.
Oh, it's kind of sad that like he's disappearing. I want like
however,
the Xanders that
the
just wanted
last
to get like
panel
milkshakes
shows-
or whatever. And then he's like, oh.
The very last panel, however, shows one in a bar somewhere, like someplace tropical, maybe Earth, maybe somewhere else. And he's sipping a beverage with an umbrella. And it's pretty clear from the timeline that showed months later that he is not faded away.
Oh, we got a Xander that's sticking around.
Wait, does that mean Silhouette's stomach is still empty now? Because they all faded away?
No, they were real enough when you ate them.
Oh, fair enough.
That's time travel paradox right there.
Right.
You don't want to deal with that mess.
Well, while they were like scavenging tech, if someone paid attention, there might have been a few bodies just falling into shadows.
Well, the entire vacuum of space is a huge shadow, so they could be like,
Now, I don't want to give any spoilers away necessarily, but you will see Jules and James again in a Optiverse show that is beginning in September. So make sure you stick around for the second part of Killing Time tomorrow and see what happens, and then tune back in as we introduce them in a few months into their own show.
Have you announced who's GMing that one?
I have not, no, but I can probably announce it now. That is going to be Mr. Clean from the Deniable Assets podcast, who's going to be
sweet.
Who's going to be joining. Yeah. So his name is Mac, and I don't know if he'll go by Mr. Clean or Mac, but whatever. And it will be he'll be the GM. James and Jules, along with Palmer and Allison, and I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? And Kevin. Yes, duh. And Kevin will be revisiting Tarot for that show. So that will be pretty awesome, and I think everybody's gonna love it. I think everybody's gonna love it when they realize during the next Killing Time what actually happens. I think they're gonna be blown away, and I can't wait.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
I'll be watching from Earth.
Well,
watch on the Space TV. You can watch us on Space Hulu.
Yeah,
definitely
Astroship,
enjoy.
I'm moving into your spaceship. I hope that's okay.
I can help build you another one.
Pleiades will help. Will have to help to sort of rebuild build a new and improved Jetsakar before heading off. I imagine.
Oh yeah, she can. And the best thing is like, well, if something breaks while she's in orbit, I just fly outside, fix it again. It's like, I hate doing this. It's annoying.
I am being told that we have $17 left to raise during the next 11 minutes before we meet our goal to keep the SCN on the air for this next year. We have a goal of
donate. I'll sing the pickle song,
this
damn
hour, and we've gotten well, I don't know what's 30 minus 17. I don't know.
If you just happen to have like lots of money laying around, you could just donate $500 to get a private Optiverse game run by Opti and your own character added to the Optiverse.
That's right. So you got $500. We'll make it happen. We'll get you your own character, your own art, and a game for you and your friends where you get to be the star. So yeah, break it. I'll wait. You got 10 minutes. Actually, that one doesn't expire. You can get that one anytime, not just during the Optiverse shows. Because you got to spend $500 on something. Might as well get some cool art and some games out of it.
You donate that, I'll actually run, if Opti's up for playing it, I will run a Little Fears game for you too.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Little Fears Optiverse crossover.
Well, here's the thing. It's just like I could actually do with the characters in the Optiverse, put them through their paces in Little Fears.
I feel like that would actually work pretty well.
Like a bad guy.
And if you want monsters, if you want that which is abject terror, that I can do. Because superheroes creepy walking teddy bears ain't going to be doing that. But the existential dread that lives in the center of a black hole, that could do it.
There you go. We'll do it.
So, I guess I had a great time playing with all of you. Hopefully you had fun. I think you all got a chance to do some cool stuff. Silhouette showing off his nom scariness and teleporting.
Sorry, I had to pull who turned out the lights bit because it's like that's freaking Bastion errata, dude.
So for those of you who who haven't been paying attention to all of the variants and Justicar shows, Silhouette has been in and out. He bounces around in and out of the variants, and most recently he performed a sort of self-sacrificial action and saved the team from this dark shadow object that was pursuing them. And he seems to have absorbed it, and his power is now quite beyond his actual control.
Yes.
Ooh.
And there's more creepy things coming that I didn't use today. So next time I'm on the variant, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, just think if he wasn't so hungry, he would have just killed them all in one fell swoop. But his hunger was distracting him.
It was.
All right, well, we got 8 minutes. 8 minutes to meet our goal. We need 17 more dollars. I feel like if I just, like NPR, if I just say it over and over again, then people will feel bad and they'll donate. Although I don't know that that's how that works.
You talk about our Shadowcasters Network Twitch driveway moments. First of all,
have you ever found
watching
yourself
Twitch and you're driving?
Have you ever found yourself pausing in your car to finish one of our Shadowcasters Network shows? Have you ever found yourself listening to one of our podcasts and thought, I just have to finish this? Well, it's that kind of free and educational and inspirational content that we bring you.
I don't want to live up to any of this.
Yeah, I know. And it's actually just us begging you for money, and we'll go away if we can't meet the goal. So throw money at us. We'll do what you want. We'll send you cool stuff. There's some milestones that we need to hit. If we blow past all those milestones, we got some stretch goals, including having a new show, a new talk show, which will be the Shadowcasters talking about all sorts of cool stuff in a talk show fashion. We've got
$7, Opti.
Wait, we get more.
$7 left.
Sweet. $7.
Donate some towards the Paranoia game,
And,
because you can buy me some action cards, and I will totally use them against
you
my
can buy
fellow
me
players.
some action cards.
Interesting. Buy them for me instead of Sarah, because I really want
sorry.
just like.
Now here's the
I'm
thing.
Out of
I'm
all the
listening to
other
this
people, I'm
content.
gunning for her.
I'm so committed to this. I wore elf ears for
Hey, I actually wore my space shirt.
and now I got a costume change because I'm gonna be in costume all night.
You monster.
Yeah, I agree. Give Sarah the action cards.
Bias.
I am loyal to
biased.
Friend Computer.
Yes, biased, but still, give her cards.
Listen to him. He's smart.
I mean, whichever, it'll be entertaining. But yeah, buy a couple.
All
of
right,
raffle
there we
tickets.
go.
It's a good
We
chance to win.
pushed up over the limit. Thank you, Alex and Thomas. We have 5 more minutes. If we were still playing the game, then you guys would both get complications. But if you want to suggest complications anyway, I'll write them into the Optiverse somehow.
Could they use them for
You can bank them for the
Paranoia?
next session.
Can you use them during Paranoia? I guess that's fine. Or you want to bank them for the next Optiverse session?
Yeah, if you get complications, never mind. It's your session.
Do whatever you want. I don't care.
Keep
Bobby might
mine
care.
to complicate Silhouette's life in the next variant session. It's gonna be fun. Force him not to be a shadow. That's gonna be
His powers are light-based now.
No, just force him out of his 2-dimensional shadow. That's gonna make him really uncomfortable for the entire episode.
What's our next thing? Is it right into Paranoia or something else first?
Paranoia.
As far as I know, it's Paranoia, which starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. So 4 minutes, and you've got it.
Good. Well, I'm going to cut out and join that Discord call then. Thank you all for playing beating some masterminds with me. It's been fun.
Right on.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you in just a bit for Paranoia.